Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of March 17th, 2019. On the cover, we have Black Clover. Lots of stuff going down. Not a whole lot I can actually talk about, but actually I do want to talk about the composition of this. I think this looks fantastic. Like, I haven't seen the Japanese cover, and I don't really want to. Like, at first, I was a bit scared with the whole banner thing that they've been doing now, because I figured like, oh, are we just gonna get like a sliver of each cover from now on? But now that they've been like actually taking elements from the covers and repositioning them to make them like good banners, I think this is way better than what we had before. Because before, like, we did get the covers just cleaned, and while that isn't bad per se, it was it wasn't the best, because the covers in Japan are generally designed so that you can have a bunch of junk everywhere, which means that generally you have like one thing in the center where it's like one character or like a small grouping of characters, or like it is very center focused. So if you remove all the stuff around it, it tends to look very empty. It doesn't look great. I mean, there are exceptions. Like, there are some where the illustrator will do like an entire background, or like they'll have characters everywhere, and then the text just has to cover them up sometimes. But like, this is the best. It makes full use of the space. It probably doesn't have like everything there. Like, maybe they have legs that are being cut off, but it doesn't matter. Like, this just looks gorgeous. I love it. Anyways, moving on down, we have. Oh, actually, I should say before I begin. No, I shouldn't. It doesn't matter. You'll see what I mean by the time we get to it. So let's just start off with Actage, chapter 57. The Observer. Okay, is Kay going to be stalked? Also, this is a very pretty illustration. Kay's fingers look a bit too red here, though. Like, worryingly red. Like, has she been doing a lot of hard work? Or are they just kind of, like, swelling up because she's clutching them too hard? What does that say? The fest. Oh, it says it right there. Yeah, 5 days until the festival. Okay, yes. Oh boy. Okay, Akira's here. This is good though. Like, now we can have an outside perspective. It doesn't just have to be like Yonagi working by herself and slowly figuring out what the lesson she's supposed to learn is. Like, Akira could potentially help. Yeah, like that without any context. It would seem like, did something really bad happen to her? Did someone die? Like, why is it that she's receding from the worlds? I'm really happy that he cared about her enough to go and check out on her. Yeah, this is not going to work out. We just need a few minutes. No. Yeah, it's the danger of filming. Even with professional sets, you will still have people like, from a safe distance gawking the entire time. So there are just like certain angles you just can't use. And of course, the rest of the film club not helping, not useful. Our job is to stand out, and often people who stand out are disliked. That's just how it is. It might be a bit dangerous then. Like, if this is the focus of the chapter, like all the people like that are drawn to Yonagi right now, I don't know. Like, okay. So she's running off with Akira to make sure that he's not seen, or like he was already seen, but to make sure he's not like fully seen. Right? If people know you're here, your project's done for. But no. They said no professional stuff, right? Yeah. We're making this project with just our friendship power. That's such a very shonen thing to say, especially since like they're not friends. They're friendly with one another, but like they're not really friends. So how can he help though? Like, why is he here? Is he literally just here to be the observer of the chapter? But yeah, oh, right. I was gonna say, like, there are a few things they could do. They could wait until the sun sets, but no, they need the sun up. The other thing would be like, just don't shoot at school. Like, if people are going to interrupt you at school, then just go to a library or something. But that wouldn't work. Like, this is a script written specifically for K, like just for K, and it's meant to be set at this school. Like, there is no better setting for it. I want to get a lonely shot of just you walking, not in a crowd. So, what is the impetus here? Like, I don't get it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So, like, clearly from this page, she's going to call upon something. What if she's going to, like, channel feelings of loneliness, like of despair, What if she like acts in such a way that it feels like she's completely and utterly alone? Like that would show off to everyone, like, oh wow, she's a great actor. Well, at the same time, like the entire hall could be full of people, and as long as she can project the correct emotion of being alone, then having people around would actually make it better. Like it would give off this feeling of yes, she is completely and utterly alone. Like it's hard to even tell that other people are there. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. What? Why zombies? That is extremely left field. Like I am. That feels like the exact opposite of what she would want. Like she's gonna draw much of attention to herself if she acts like she's in a zombie movie. Yeah, like I actually do not get it. Wait a minute. Is she seriously just going to be so scared that everyone else runs away because like they all freak out over how scary it is? What's she pointing at? Oh, I'm scared. Oh, really? I know that during Galactic Railroad they mentioned the Death Island wasn't out, but I thought like after Galactic Railroad it would be out. I guess not. Like I guess Galactic Railroad was just a month, right? So, hmm. Yeah, I guess that means we have quite a bit of time before we get to a point where Kay is like truly famous, where like she is like where she has stuff out, where she can like cut a demo reel. But okay, so it's just that insanely good acting. Is this the exact same shot? No, it isn't. The characters are different. Oh, something's happening. Let's get out of here. A psycho killer? Danger. What the heck? This is so like borderline supernatural. I do really like that though. Like, especially the sweat that she had, yeah, here. Like, it's that combination of what she could do early on, where she could like force herself to feel emotion as if she was really there, and now she's combining it with her stage presence, where she can take that super subtle emotion and fuse it into the ability to just make everyone feel what she's feeling. Like, this is a beautiful way of showing how far she's come without it having to be like in a traditional acting role. Okay, well, that's not how I expected this to go down, but I'm not complaining. Okay. Okay, so even Akira can see it. Like, yeah, she is being stuck in character. Like, that's just an excuse. She really isn't coming all the way back. And I guess that's what this is supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be like it's training for when you aren't like in a padded area or like how do I put this? On a movie set or on a stage, everyone there wants you to do your very best. So, like, people are going to give you the necessary amount of aftercare and attention that you need. Like, they'll do everything to make sure you get to do that one amazing performance. But you can't expect that in real life. And that's also how you become like more and more disconnected from the rest of the world when you believe that the world should be designed the same way that like the movie set is designed, that everything should cater to you in the same way. So I think this is part of it. Like part of it is just to keep Yonagi grounded, to give her some actual school life while she's still a student, so she doesn't feel like she grew up on stage. But I think part of it's also this, like to force her to end up in situations that you would not normally be in if you were just constantly taking work, so that she gets like a greater understanding of who she is, how she reacts to things, how she has to treat herself. Okay, so she just like slapped herself out of it. Okay. When she's with other actors, Kei doesn't have a place to return to from her role. But here, she's not Kei Yonagi the actress. She's Kei Yonagi the teenager. Yeah, so she does just like, that is really cool. Yeah, and this girl's quickly like she's figuring it out. She understands like, yeah, that's the power of acting. It's not as simple as just making stuff up. It's the power to project your emotions. I hope they don't get into trouble for that though. Like, I assume everyone's going to say, like, yeah, Yonagi was the one who was freaking out. So she might get into some trouble, but I hope not. I hope that's not a big part of this. I'd be okay if it was just like, for doing that, you're not allowed to shoot in certain areas. Like, if it's just making it slightly more difficult to film, that's fine. But I don't want to make it like a drama thing. Like, I want the focus of this arc to be on the amateur film they're making. I don't want there to be like this extra layer of bureaucracy or whatever. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do. Like, so far, the chapters we've gotten have been all very focused around the story itself. Or like the movie itself, with a little extra from the two members of the film club who just aren't, who are just there for the sake of being in the film club. So if we do both of those in turn, I think that'll be fine. Like if we can pull them into the film club, if we can eventually rely on them, and then we tie that into this film being made properly, like that'd be fun. It's a small scope, but I don't think it has to be a large scope story. Like we've already had a bunch of really long arcs. This would be a nice like mini arc. Anyways, that is Actage. Good chapter. I'm gonna stick that. Oh boy. I don't like putting up OBS just because like seeing myself as I'm talking is the trippiest thing. Actage always gets the coveted being alone because it's the first thing I read every week. Hopefully it'll manage to stay high, but who knows? Like it wasn't a banger of a chapter. It wasn't a knockout chapter. So I don't imagine Actage is ever going to be like super high, but it's still a good series. Like being in the middle of the rankings does not mean it's bad in any way whatsoever. Anyways, next is Black Clover. Okay. Whoa. Wait, this is page 198. Or is it? No, it's 197. 196, 195. Okay, so this is just wrong. Okay. That was tripping me out for bits. But okay, this is amazing. I love it. I'm a super big fan of AUs in general. Also, this might just be I'm completely just reading too much into it, but it feels almost like a response to the My Hero Academia fantasy alternate universe thing. Because this is, all these fantasy characters as students at a school. Of course, we're framing it with Noelle and Mimosa, but I think all the guys look good. Aurel's up there having a blast. Jack looks super cool. I was actually just thinking about this for a character I might do for a D&D game, like a character that uses protractors to fight, like as blades or as guns. Like I think that's a cool aesthetic. That's actually super relevant. Oh, okay. I thought Asta had like horns coming out of his hat, but no. Yami's like the I don't think that like schools in Canada have an equivalent to this. Where like there's just a dude standing outside by the entrance. Yeah, I don't think we have that. Like when I went to grade school, we had like a chain link fence for a while. Like for a while we didn't, and then I think something happened. It might have been 9/11 actually. Like something happened and then we got a chain link fence. And then after that, like even then, like it was never really watched by someone. Oh my gosh, I just noticed Marileona. Like I thought I don't know what I thought she was doing there, but I didn't notice her until right now. What in the world? Not like I think the design is cool, but I don't know, like the pure inky black is weirding me out a little bit. I guess we have to wait for the anime to come out though. Because when I think of it now, like because the anime hit me with that striking image of the devil every time we see it, it's like it's animated on the ones, it's super fluid. I guess it is inky black a lot of the time. Usually I think of it as like having like a graininess to it, but that's not necessarily needed. And especially since it has all of this like liquid stuff here. I imagine this would be like constantly flowing upwards. So I guess that's fine. I do think the contrast between the pure undefined inky black and then the super detailed pale neck and head, like it does look really cool. I'm so curious to see what this means for the series. Like, this could be endgame, this could not be endgame. It depends. Like, it depends on how powerful it is right now. If Asta and Yuno, or just any of the, like, if anyone here can put up a fight with it, especially the elves, actually. Like, if we feel as if this devil can be taken down, then that means something completely different than if it just, destroys everyone. If it destroys everyone, then it's basically like it's got to be endgame. Whereas if you can fight it, then that implies that we're going to have maybe more of them in the future or something. But they did mention it's almost certain that this is the devil that created Asta's grimoire, so it's probably going to be extremely important. Man, that is extremely broken. Like I think I brought it up last week, but it's basically like power words from D&D, where you say a word and it just happens. Gosh. Okay, so he can clearly do a lot of things. Like it's not even like words related to a certain element. It's just whatever he says, apparently. We haven't seen any limits to it yet. Okay, so can Asta and Yuno together fight it? I mean, especially since they've both gotten really, really strong at this point. Especially Yuno. Like, if Yuno gets batted aside, that's going to be a problem. So I guess it also depends on like, is Asta's anti-magic like demon magic, or is it just normal, everyday, regular magic that happens to be anti-magic? I mean, not magic that just is it anti-magic or is it demon magic? Because those have two very different implications for what could happen if he fights it. Ah, it's a very like not unlimited blade works. It's or not like a Gates of Babylon. It's more of just a big chasm in the sky. Ah, I really hope like it seems like Yuki Tabata is great at drawing like these big explosive attacks that are just like a ton of things happening all over the place. So I'm really hoping that more of the endgame villains get abilities like this. Because like we've seen some like captains on our side that can do stuff like this, and it's cool. But I think like the super ornate stuff should be something that the villains do. Like it's a good aesthetic. Like you want to have the super simple thing for the main character because it's easy to understand, it's easy to theorize what he'll do every week. Whereas the villains can go super duper ultra elaborate because you don't have to like worry about them being restrained. Like they are the thing that needs to be restrained. Like they are the problem. They are the ones that are, the big odds that the heroes have to go up against. So you can do crazy stuff like this. Oh, by the way, so did you guys hear about the Osamatsu-san? Um, yeah, it's like an Osamatsu-san Black Clover crossover, it seems. Well, it's in the 76th episode, Madoshi X, or like Mage X, Magic Knight X, which, as everyone knows, is the debut of Rill. So I assume, like, I think the way they're going to do this is that just during Rill's backstory, or maybe just during part of his fights, depending on how much they adapt. Like, I doubt it's going to be just that singular chapter. But I imagine they're probably going to just put the Matsus in, like, the background. Like, that would be the simple way to do it. But what I'd kind of like them to do is to do, like, a full, like, super trippy thing like the Osamatsu-san openings. I think that'd be incredible. To just have this, like, super different style appear out of nowhere. Because this is the one time in the series they could do that and have it, like, also be, like, cartoony and goofy. Whereas, like, with other big arrays of power like this, like, you can't do the Osamatsu art style here. But you could do it with Rill very easily. Like, even though Rill's art tends to be more, hyper detailed, I think they could bend things a little bit. Like, it's supposed to be just cool, crazy art in general. Plus, it's animated. So I imagine, like, having very simple things that are moving very quickly and fluidly would be a lot better than having a lot of, like, hyper detailed things that can't move that fluidly. Some of them are physical weapons. So, like, not all of them. Like, some of them are magic, some of them are physical. So how does that work? Like, I assumed because it's word magic, like, shouldn't they all either be, like, summoned from somewhere or be all magic? Like, how can you have both? Also, what does this mean? Like, be crushed, smashed, broken to pieces, riddled with holes. Like, does that just create attacks that do that? Or is it just, like, his word is law? Like, they can't dodge it, it just happens to them. Okay, yeah, so it really was all part of his plan. Even though he thought himself to be, just like this minor little player in it. Like, no, it was all him. And it was all him being controlled by the devil. That does make sense. Like, again, I wasn't the one who like noticed a lot of this stuff, but people have noticed like these little fragments of information. Like I never picked up I picked up on the elves potentially being demons slash transforming into them. Like that was super obvious. But other people have pointed out that like the things relating to the reincarnation ceremony and to like the stone tablet, like they tend to use runes that apparently are like demonic, like runes that seem to be from Asta's grimoire, as opposed to like every other type of magic in the series. Like I really do love that because he is the fake licked. And now we see like, yeah, it was completely fake all the way down to his motivations, all to like his beliefs. It was all completely fake. That is super interesting. Yep, that's the mind break. That is the mind break. Oh, is his four-leaf clover turning into a black five-leaf? But nope. Asta and Yuno are still fine. Pages like these are like the Black Clover pages. Like when I think of Black Clover, I think of crazy elaborate 2-page spreads, and I think of single page spreads or like single pages that have like the Asta Yuno dynamic or just two other characters talking about each other. Like it's this duality. My dream won't lose to you. Oh, wait a minute. What? Is it waking up? Lict's child inside him. Lict's child was okay, so that was the elf that possessed Yuno. That other devil is resonating with my magic. Okay. So that makes sense. Like, Yuno now has the power to destroy all the physical stuff, and then Asta has the power to destroy all the magic stuff. So together, like they're the ultimate combo. Also, it's interesting that he calls him the other devil. Like not just a devil. I mean, first of all, I like that they're both getting like different power ups. It's not from the same place, but they are both like welling up with power for two different reasons that are both connected to this one moment. Like, Lict's entire goal being like recognized by Lict's child, and Lict's child finally waking up and lending his power. And then here, like the anti magic being spurred on by the presence of this devil. But yeah, like I've always been taking the idea of there being a literal devil in the grimoire as sort of a like I've been taking it with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's completely true or not. Like it could always just be like a figure of speech. So when we mentioned that this devil is most likely the one who created the grimoire, I thought, okay, well, maybe there isn't one there. Maybe he is metaphorically that one. But no, with this specifically, this line. Like, also, actually, I read, like, when I saw this, I immediately jumped to the devil in the grimoire. But is he actually just, like, noticing that Asta is a devil? Like, is that what he's saying? Because there is something in the grimoire at the very least. Like, Asta has directly communicated with it. But whether it's really one or if it's just, like, that energy with sort of a will or something. Like, anytime it's Asta and together, it is amazing. I think this spiral is one of my favorite things they've done in quite a while. One of my favorite things they've done in like the past 20 chapters, because they've done a lot of stuff. But like the combination of the super, like not even super detailed, but just the detailed wind from and the super inky pure black from Asta, just vaguely like there's a bit of detail here, but for the most part it's pure inky black. Like, oh, it's perfect. Such a good contrast. I love it. Now, what does this mean? What is this? What is this trying to convey? Also, I just realized that if none of this was Lict's desire, then maybe this explains why Licht had the sword that Asta has, like the curse destroying sword. Like, I guess I don't know how that would shake out though. Like the idea that came to mind just now was, what if he knew about the devil and he wanted to create a weapon against it? So he got this blade specifically so that the hmm, like for the other elves to use, but then I feel like they had to have been completely tricked. Like I can't imagine that Lict's actual desire would like played a part here at all. Because like it was completely a trap. But then that doesn't explain why he had the sword in the first place. Like it's so obvious. It's so like convenient that I feel like there has to be a reason for it. If there isn't, I won't be too mad, but like it feels like there's got to be a reason. Anyways, Black Clover very handily above Act Dodge for obvious reasons. It's one of those series where just after reading it, I always feel so elated and happy, and even if I am harsh with it when I try to compare it to other series like after the moment, in the moment, it always feels like number 1. Like I'm keeping this order because it's the order I set upon, it's the order decided by the poll I did. But at some point, I might shake it up. I might put Black Clover like near the end of this because I do genuinely wonder, like, would it rank higher if I read it after certain things? It's not even for the sake of making it rank higher. It's just like I'm always super curious when it comes to my own biases, and I want to like know more about myself. I want to know more about my thought process, about my decision making. So, maybe someday, maybe I'll like just flip this upside down, flip this upside down, and just do it like that for a week to see if it changes anything. Anyways, that was Black Clover. Next is Food Wars, Chapter 303. We have the crossed knives, which, I mean, not totally sure how these two are going to combine specifically, but this is clearly going to be a Megami Gets Destroyed arc, or a fight chapter. I don't know how long this is going to be. I hope it's not too long. Like, I don't want them to stretch it out, because clearly, like, Megami has to lose here. Like, in order to show off the power of the cross knives. If he loses here, then it would just make him look weak. I need those pictures or I'll forget which knife was whose. I mean, it's not like I care about any of the knives in this case. Such a bad, like, ugh. You know, I don't fully remember. Did Subaru have pictures of the knives? Or, like, of the people he took the knives from? I don't think so. I want to say that Subaru had a collection that was just the knives. But he didn't have any, like, names, like, he didn't have any pictures because he just knew the names of every person whose knife he stole. Honestly, I think I would like this dynamic and the whole cross knives things a lot better if Subaru didn't exist and if he wasn't one of my favorite characters. Because Subaru really did do this, but better and less over the top. Like, I don't know. I guess we'll see how this fight goes. Like, if it's not just magically picking up the knife and then having all the abilities of that chef, then I'll be more okay with it. Like, if it's just putting himself in the mindset of that chef, for instance, that'd be okay. But I love Subaru so much because he was a copycat, he was a thief, but he put effort into it. He showed how incredibly difficult it would be and like how genuinely noble it was in a way for him to constantly have to sit down and research people and stalk them and learn everything just so that he could cook what they did but better. And even then, it wasn't even like I'm going to use the same style against you. It was just I'll do exactly what you do but slightly better. Like it was there's something so logical about it, where even though it's evil, it's not okay, it's still absurdly cool. It's way cooler than Saibasi. Okay, value pack meats. It's bargain value beef, sold wholesale for 190 yen per 100 grams. Like, in addition to using the cross knives, it's also a trick of like, hey, you're using one knife from someone who only makes gourmet food, so there's no way that, he couldn't win here, how could you win? I am happy that they're bringing this up. Like, I wish we could have seen some of it, though. Like, I wish we could have had, like, an arc or two that was just traveling the world. Like, I do appreciate the resources that they have as, seats of Totsuki. But it feels so weird to just be like, okay, well, they're the seats now, and now there's going to have that, but we're not going to focus on it. We're just going to throw them into another arc. Like, I find it hard to care about this chapter because I know she's going to lose, even though, like, everything is showing that, yes, she should be able to win. Okay. Let me give you a big old bite of the real power of cross knives. Alright, so nothing too ridiculously fancy, just gorgeous roast beef. Like, I'm assuming it's just he used the claws to... Actually, he could have done sort of a Soma thing, where, like, the beef itself is not... No, how would that work? Because the whole point of the knives is that you stab the ingredients, and then you fill them with, like, the flavors, like, embedded on each claw. So in that case, I guess it would just be, like, just stabbing the beef a lot to impart a bunch of flavor to make up for the fact that there's not a lot of flavor. Or, like, if it's thick and juicy and glistening, maybe he has a claw that's just, like, fat, actually. Like, I think they're supposed to just be, like, the 5 flavors, but I could see something like that, where it's just, like, injecting fat into the meat to make it better. Like, to make it fake marbled in some way. The one dipped in the umami seasonings. Alright. When you age beef, you're doing set... Yeah, right. See, I don't know if that's... Is that how that works? I mean, I know this is how aging beef works, but I don't think you can just, like, put umami on meat and be like, alright, now it's the same as aged beef. Like, I have pure umami, I have MSG. I'm pretty sure if you rub meat in MSG, it doesn't, like, turn it into super rich meat. Like, part of it is the marbling, which this meat did not have. Like, that's the thing. If he's using the power to cook luxury ingredients, then yeah, that knife shouldn't work very well. because it's not a luxury. Like, I get the logic behind it of turning it into a luxury ingredient, but that's not how it works. It should just be like cooking with a piece of bargain bin meat that has been flavored, that has been seasoned. Which also, like, why can't Megami just do that then? I can understand this, like, why it's supposed to be cool though. Like, it's oh, what is that ability? You know, the one where you touch something and you gain the memory of what you touched. Like, you touch a samurai sword, and then you gain the powers of that samurai, or like the memories of the blade being used in combat. Like, that's basically what his ability is supposed to be. And I think it's all right. It's just it feels like it contrasts so heavily with the rest of the series. Where like most of the characters that have been super cocky have been cocky because they have a powerful skill, or they're born into a family that is that's got great connections, or something of that nature. But Asahi Saiba, like, his ability just feels too supernatural. And it's not like we don't have supernatural abilities. Like, we outright have the gifting. Like, that's fine. It's just, I don't know. I keep comparing him to Subaru, and I keep on not liking him. I guess I should just stop doing that then. But like, just everything about him as a villain isn't the greatest. See, this is so bizarre. Like, yeah, she has improved its flavors to the highest level one could conceive of value-priced beef could reach, but her opponent changed the quality of the meat itself. Like, how? How did he change the quality of the meats? Like, obviously, Megami would have added more umami to the meat. Like, she probably has some MSG she can sprinkle on that. I imagine she was using much better techniques as well. But, like, I don't like the logic of it. I think this is a cool visual, though. Like, going up against multiple chefs at once, as opposed to, going up against a shapeshifter. I think that is interesting. And I guess this is also just, it's not an interesting dish. Like, it's the most basic dish possible. Which I get, like, because it's just meant to show off the base of what he can do. But I just don't like it. I don't like it very much. Yeah. I mean, I get it, though. I get why he's so cocky, and, like, why he understands, like, why he thinks that he can do what she wants. Because as long as you find different chefs and you give him the knives, he can make literally anything. He can make the most insane things that you couldn't possibly ever think of. Oh boy. Yeah, and of course, like, she's lost all faith in traditional chefs. So of course, this is the end game. This is what she wants. Yeah, like, I haven't been super into this, but I do like this contrast. Like, Erina wants to use what is it called again? It's not the golden tongue, but she wants to use her divine tongue to make something that her mom has never tasted. I assume the problem here is that her mom's like just sick of it. That's why she uses an IV now, because there's no flavor in the world that she can enjoy, because she also has the divine tongue, and that's why like Asi Saiba has a better chance of making something that will please her than her own daughter does. The thing is, I can also see the logic in it. Like, cross knives is like to do the whole Asi Saiba, like the family thing. He actually does fit Soma really well as a contrast. Like, Soma's all about creating things you've never had before. That's how he broke through Erina's shell. And this is just an evil version of that. Like, instead of learning properly and traveling the world, instead Asi Saiba just steals those powers, which also just doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. Like, unless it is outright supernatural, if it's not outright supernatural, if it is rooted in some sort of like thing you can do, if it's rooted in his own experience, then there is no difference between what he can do and what Soma can do, apart from just stealing the knives. I guess that's what I dislike about this. Like, if it were outright 100% supernatural, I'd be happier with it, because then it's our heroes who are not supernatural fighting a supernatural force. Like, it's that inherent unfairness. And if the villain is unfair, that's fine. What I dislike is just the explanation of how his power works, because it doesn't make sense. Because it feels like he is genuinely just more skilled, but he also has a weird gimmick that tramples on someone else's gimmick. Also, as much as I did predict it, I'm happy that, it is the way I thought it was. Yeah, it is because of that she lost faith in cooking. Ooh, and of course, Soma putting up his hands. You want to hear from anyone else? Anyone who thinks otherwise? Mind if I speak up? Okay. So, that was Food Wars. I mean, as you can tell, you can probably guess where I'm putting it. Next is Lation. Process 13, the path of evil. Hmm. So, what does this refer to? I imagine, like, because they beat Boogie, either he's going to find a way to get away, or I think because he's sort of a mini boss, he probably will stop. We'll probably get an explanation for like how he met Gavaudin, which also that's not how you pronounce his name. I've been saying it over and over again. I recently talked to someone who speaks native French, and they pointed out like, no, that's absolutely not how you pronounce it. So I apologize for that, but I don't remember how to pronounce it. Yeah, like that is a slick move though. Like I'm guessing because he whispered on it, like Boogie probably didn't, he probably did want to stop the betting, but at the same time, like this makes a lot of sense. Like of course this would happen. Like if you were to fight the Yakuza and you're able to say like, hey, don't do this anymore. If it's just a bet and there's no like actual danger to it, apart from pride, I guess, then they would just like slip it off to someone else and continue as if nothing happens. Okay. No, never mind. Boogie really does have like, more genuine backbone than I thought he did. Like, I thought he was in on this, but I guess he isn't. Okay, 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 okay. I do respect him a lot more then. Okay, so he just, like, tossed all that cash he earned up in the air. So, I guess that is his way of making amends. In that case, I hope the rest of the chapter is him just explaining how he got in with Gavaudin. Like, I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with having him not as an ally. I feel like once Gavaudin finds out about this, he's gonna kill him. But like, I do want to get a little more of him before he leaves the series. Okay, tell me about that symbol. And of course, like, why wouldn't you? Why, if all these bills are being thrown everywhere, why wouldn't you pick some up? There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Some also suppose it was actually a human. It looks human and lives among humans, but inside he's a beast that can only live by feeding on others. I mean, I doubt it's not. It can't be the person from 18th century France, unless we're saying like it's his descendants. Also, I love this. I love this aside that yes, Neo almost certainly did not know about this, but once he heard the name, like he did Google it. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, obviously, he would go out and get actual information after he did his due diligence. I really appreciate that. There are so many series where characters just don't look stuff up, and it's just assumed like, oh, of course, if they were to look it up, that would break the series. I'm really glad that for a series that's all about like hacking and technology and stuff, our main character is cool. Like he's willing to do this kind of thing. Okay. I also like I didn't really laugh at it, but I do appreciate this exchange. This is great. Like the comedy in Annihilation is on point. It reminds me a lot of the comedy in Doctor Stone actually. Like in the way that the series very freely manages to go from serious stuff and actual exposition to comedy and like just to and from. It doesn't have as good like it doesn't have the chibis that Doctor Stone has. It doesn't have that level of goofiness quite yet, but the actual like framing of it and the jokes and stuff, those are all good. I do appreciate that we keep on flashing back to this. Like, especially in the early chapters. Like, it wasn't just a way to set up the series. We are hammering in that yes, this is the way that Daigo and Mizuno lived for a long time. Ah. And that's why, like, that's the moment that he fell in love with her. It wasn't just the fact that she's attractive, it's that, like, it's because she's a genuinely good person. That is awesome. So it's because of them, like, oh, that's amazing. Like, it's because of the two of them, those two siblings, that Brother Ta became the cool dude that he is. Like, genuinely. That's why he gave up racing. Okay. Go ahead and keep doing something you know is wrong, but don't come complaining to me when it comes crashing down around you. You're either going to end behind bars or in an accident. You may even kill someone. That's cool. Like, that's a good way of dispensing justice in a series where the main characters are all villainous. Like, it's not saying, like, hey, I'm a hero of justice. You shouldn't do this. Bad things are bad. It's him just saying, like, no, there are consequences. There are consequences that'll happen regardless of whether you're caught or not. Okay, so that's the question he's asking. Yeah, you went on a joyful rampage in the society of villains, but you're still just a kid, so it doesn't add up. What's your goal? Hmm. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's why. That's why the chapter's called The Path of Evil. It's not. Oh my gosh. Because I was wondering about that with this shot too. Like, is this supposed to be Brother Ta's Path of Evil? But no, 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 no. We're asking about Neo. Yeah, what are you? What is your path of evil? Why are you doing this? Hmm. And I guess they're implying it's the same laptop too. Hmm. I mean, I'm curious. I do think this is pretty cool. Like we're delving into a potential backstory. This is actually kind of cool. Like I've been comparing this series, Hell Warden Higuma, and Chainsaw Man quite a bit. And while Chainsaw Man's been the most out of the box one of the three, like the one that it's the hardest one to compare to any of the others, I do think that uh, Hell Warden Higuma has been hinting at a backstory for a little while. Lation really hasn't. So it's interesting that right around now, both series have decided, like, yeah, we've done 2 volumes worth of cool stuff. Let's delve into the potential backstory. It's an alright chapter. It's good. I do appreciate that it was able to juggle like 3 different things. It was able to make Boogie cool. It was like genuinely a surprising chapter. Like it was extremely solid. I guess I'll put it below Actage. It depends. Like this Actage was really striking. I really enjoyed the one big thing that happened in it. Whereas with Nailation, it feels like we had like 2 or 3 things that were all really well done. Yeah, I think I'll keep it there for now. Anyways, that was Nailation. Next is Hell Warden Higuma. It's talking about flashbacks, talking about backstory. I'm letting him go. When your child turns 10, I'll come find him again. Okay. Become a worthy Hell Warden like your father. Now here's the thing, like we saw this shot before. We saw Higuma buy the tree stump. We saw like this oh my god, is this his dad? Is that it? That's got to be it. That's why he's crying. That's why he was crying like the acidic tears before. Because specifically this shot, when your child turns 10, I'll come find him again. He's either talking to like there's no one else in the shot besides the demon or like the the spirits. The what are they called again? Captive spirits or escaped spirits? And then Higuma. He's not talking to Higuma because obviously Higuma doesn't have a kid. Yeah, I'll come find him again. So it has to be the demon talking to Higuma's dad. And the only other person we see here is the demon. So he has to have possessed him, and that's why he's crying. Oh my god. Okay, that is. This is awesome. This is genuinely awesome. Chapter 12, a Moonlight Nights, with what I assume are his mom and his dad. Oh man, I am way more invested in this specific arc now. Like, oh my gosh. And I love that they built this up until like right now. Like I didn't figure it out until right now. But even the hair is so similar too. Like he's got the little like things here, but apart from that, like the hair is just it's that general spiky thing. Oh, I love it. Oh my god, that has to be it now. Okay. That fireworks festival is coming up soon, right? The one that's out of season? This person doesn't have that hair, right? Okay, no. Like the 2 long bangs are going to be what I'm looking for. Okay. I do appreciate that the series has shown repeatedly, like, there are other Hell Wardens, and Higuma just has, like, a network out there of Bunraisha and other people that we just have not met so far. So whoever this is, like, I think that's cool. I think the further you go into a series, the harder it is to do stuff like this, unless you've, like, specifically set it up. Hmm. The moon is especially bright tonight, just like it was on that night. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Like, yeah, if someone doesn't want to talk about something and I know that thing, I'm not going to talk about it. It's like for them. That's like people are entitled to their own secrets. So I assume this is like, hey, check out the journal. Okay, no, no, no. See, I thought he was like trying to imply like, hey, check this, but no, it was just she noticed the books. Oh, that's cute. I've never roasted a sweet potato in a like pile of leaves, but I've been roasting sweet potatoes as of late, and it is really nice. Like there's something incredibly satisfying about seeing the outside skin dry up and become like a little bit crispy, not too crispy, but just a little bit crispy, and the inside's all soft and warm. It's the best. You can also microwave them, which I've tried, but I feel like you have to cut them up before you microwave them. I'm always terrified of making them explode when I use the microwave. Yeah, that's got to be his mom. It's interesting that his dad, like, clearly he looks a lot like his dad, and his dad, yep, definitely got that spiky hair. But it's interesting that his dad looks like the bland one, whereas his mom looks more like the main character. Oh, that's my aunt Harma. Okay. Eh, honestly, I do think that he looks more like his dad than his mom. Like, I guess the hairline is more the same. Yeah, you can see that. But like everything else feels more like his dad. Oh, she was a Hell Warden too. Okay. So we know for a fact his mom died first. This yeah, I haven't looked at the page yet, but the silhouette of this person. I guess I never considered the idea that it could be his mom. Actually, wait a minute. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the little spiky things here. So I guess it isn't him then. Never mind. Does she? No, she doesn't. Obviously, her bangs are like cut here. Okay. Huh. Never mind then. Yeah, its hair doesn't look like either of them really. Did she pass away? Yeah, 6 years ago, the same day my father died. Hmm. So it could be her potentially. Like the hair thing might be a little bit of a change, and like this fluffy thing we've seen multiple times. It looks kind of feminine. It's possible. Like it could be either it's his dad or it's his aunt who got possessed and then killed his dad and then was like speaking to his dad like spiritually, or even that. I guess it could just be her, but then she was crying as the spirit made her say all those things. They were both killed by the same fugitive spirits. Yeah, so at the very least, this is the one that killed both of them. It's almost certainly one of them. Yeah, what a perfectly cool night. Won't be long until summer. Man, we've been having some good nights as of late. Like, it's finally getting warm enough that you can walk outside and out at night without it being chilly enough that you need to wear a jacket or something. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Like, I assumed it was just, the manga thing of between chapters, even if someone has a wound, it'll just kind of erase itself for the sake of art. Yeah, so as he said to his uncle, like he does, or like he wasn't an uncle, right? He was a family friend. Oh, distant relative. That was it. Distant relative. But yeah, like he is actually trying to ask out Higuma, not as anything more than a friend, but just as a friend, which is cool. Okay, well, here's the big reveal. Which one of them is it? It has to be one of them. Like, there's no other reason why it would be crying. Standing there, waiting quiet, serene, the man seemed full of life, so it is his dad. This is also super blatant, too, like, just out of nowhere. I was worried the Kitsune was gonna do you in. I swear, Ingetsu does this kind of stupid thing every time. I guess it's not just tears, like, he does cry them sometimes, but this is like, I guess blood, maybe? Whatever it is, it's acid. Take Ayaha. Oh my gosh. Did it just eat away, like, the bottom of... Whoa, what? Oh boy. Hmm. I mean, that's one hand down. Like, even though he has the Zaijutsu, I assume, like, to swivel out, maybe he can even replace his hand on the fly. Like, that's still pretty big. A fugitive spirit, the highest ranking one we've ever seen. He can manipulate the molten copper that flows through his body. Okay, the molten copper, so it's not acid. He killed Higuma's father and aunts, but not just them. He's killed every Hell Warden in the Kagurite line. Oh my god. So 879 years. 879, so not even 1,000 yet. That is nuts. Like, we know that there are those out there that have been suffering for thousands and thousands of years. The highest ranking one that Higuma at the very least has ever seen hasn't even hit 1,000. That is nuts. But okay, so he's killed every Hell Warden in the Kagurite line. That is insane. I mean, this feels like he has to be the endgame then, right? Also, what is happening here? Oh, no, never mind. That's just a piece of that's just a piece of like copper that's like molten. I thought he was like removing his own hand, like creating a fake Zaiju or something, but no. Oh my god. Yeah, like this reminds me so much of like it's not the same at all, but there's a character in the Garo series that is like the malice directed towards all the Garo that have ever lived. Like Garo is like this armor that's passed down a certain family line. And so like every series, or I think not every series, but like, once per series, this thing will show up and it'll like challenge the current Garo to a fight. And the whole idea is like, even though they keep on destroying it, like that malice will never disappear. So it's just a thing they always have to fight, and they just have to keep on getting stronger and stronger. Like everyone's gonna have to fight it. If one person can't beat it, then the line just ends there. I think that like that idea of a evil being that constantly tests a certain family is the coolest thing. Like, if possible, I'd actually like it if Higuma doesn't kill it. Like, if Higuma can just, I mean, I guess he doesn't kill any of them, right? He just sends them back. But like, this feels like it's got to be some sort of like not end game, but like it has to be like a major dangerous thing if it's able to destroy all these much older, much more powerful members of his same family line. After 6 years, I've come to let you take your vengeance. Like the series has really been hammering in that Higuma is not fully grown, that he isn't that good, that there's a lot of problems with him. So there's no way he can win here. I feel like this has to be a situation where um Akagane beats him up, leaves him to die, and then says, "I'm gonna fight you later," and goes off. Like that has to be it. This feels like the kind of thing that Higuma has to finally beat in like chapter 100. There's no way he can do it now. I really do love the aesthetic, by the way. Like the aesthetic of it's his dad, it is crying its eyes out, and I assume he might even still be conscious in there somewhere, just like quietly suffering. Which even then, I wouldn't want that to be the reason why Higuma wins, because that would just imply like, oh, when he was possessing his, Higuma's grandfather, for instance, like Higuma's dad's dad didn't care about Higuma's dad enough, and that's why he didn't win. Like that feels too self-defeating. I'd be okay if that happened like chapter 100 though. If it was like, Higuma's dad gives him the edge and then Higuma kills him in chapter 100. But for now, for chapter 12, or 13, 14, there's no way. It can't happen. It would be disappointing. That said, this is shaping up to be my favorite arc so far. Like it's such a cool villain. I love the way it was set up. I love that within the first page of this chapter, it was dead obvious what the answer was going to be. Like that is insanely cool. And we even had, his aunt show up as like, a little swerve, a little thing that made me wonder like, is it going to be him or is it going to be his aunt? Like that's so cool. I love it. All right. So, rankings. I'm going to put this right over or under? I guess under. Under Black Clover, above Actage. It was a good chapter. I was very into it. All right, so that's Higuma. Next is Chainsaw Man, Chapter 14. French Kiss. Okay. I want that. Give it. Of course, I didn't really consider that, but yeah. Like, first of all, of course Power would want the pieces. Also, I guess that means that um our boy could potentially eat some of those Gun Devil pieces in order to become more powerful. Like, I imagine that'd become a problem once he fights the Gun Devil itself, sure, but it's a possibility. Like, it is out there. It's like the Shikon Jewel Shards in Inuyasha. Like, it's part of something that's real dangerous, but you can use it if you need to. Oh my gosh. This page really sums up, like, their dynamic as a trio. I love it. I love that he used gum, too. Like, gum. 2 thin sticks of gum. Also, again, I appreciate that they can tell that, I mean, obviously because of the ears, they can immediately tell that Power is a devil or a fiend, but they can't tell that Denji is one. That's just, it's interesting. It really makes Makima more interesting by the fact that, like, with each chapter it goes on, we see that her power is legitimately not normal. Like, it's such a subtle thing, but it silently hypes her up more and more. And yeah, I can appreciate this. Like, yeah, they are both incredibly sketchy. So, of course, they get the dangerous spots. They get the spots where if they try to betray the team, they get executed. Like, that's fine. It's not humane, but I mean, I get it. Okay, what prank did they pull on him? Okay. Hmm. The lucky winner who defeats the devil this time gets a kiss on the cheek from me. Man, this entire team is really just held together by sexual favors. Also, interestingly enough, the person she seems to be seriously motivating, like, I doubt Power really wants it. The person she seems to genuinely be trying to tease is the quiet girl, which is interesting. Like, of the characters we've seen so far, Quiet Girl and Loud Man are the two I don't really care about the most. Like, not because I dislike them, but just because they haven't done very much. So it's interesting. That's actually very pure-hearted of him. Like, he doesn't want that kiss. He knows who he wants a kiss from. It's not going to be her. I don't even know your name. I couldn't be less interested in your lips. Oh my gosh. Is this what the French kiss is going to be? Is she going to do a French kiss and then, like, make him renege his words? Okay, no, no, no. So, not even doing it right now, just as a promise. What an absolute dog. What an absolute dog. This is the face of our main character. These two panels are gorgeous. I love them. Like, I don't know when I would use this as a reaction image, but I want to keep it. It is the best. Huh. I'm genuinely curious. Like, is she scared about what's happening, or is she that excited about the idea of being kissed on, or getting a kiss on the cheek? Like, it's honestly a possibility. Like, first of all, I think they said she was a girl in the past. I mean, she could be a boy. I don't know. But either way, like, I'm curious about her now. Like, Loud Man is very clearly just loud, not super interested in him. This makes her much more interesting. Okay, so that's his motivation. I mean, part of it is I assume he just, he does want the kiss for the sake of having the kiss. But I like this other, like, this motivation of just, I'll take it so she doesn't, you don't take it from her. You and I got different burdens, man. Okay, so they're Arai and Kobani. So he is exactly the way I read him. He's loud, he's full of drive, but he's not that special. Whereas she has talents, and we don't know what the talent is. Okay, this is a good way of building her up very quietly. Yeah, strong but a hothead, she'll probably betray us. Denji, no idea. Denji's just a pure anomaly. So they have a past. They have some sort of a past, at the very least. Okay, and he was also kind of a brat at first. Yeah, this is slowly changing the way I think of him. Like, if the organization saw him like this, and this, giving him the two super ill-mannered recruits that have to live in his house, like, this is probably some, like, long-term trolling. Like, this is the way you used to act, now you have to deal with it. Okay. So that's the true meaning of this line, don't you die. Like, don't be a useless nobody. Well, well then. That's a way to end the chapter. What is this expression supposed to convey? Anyways, good chapter. I was into it. Chainsaw Man's definitely been better than average after the last couple chapters. I can't say it was as good as Actage. Like, I appreciate the character dynamics a lot now, but it feels like early Black Clover to me still. I feel like I said that before. It's early-ish Black Clover in terms of dynamics in a couple chapters. Like, if the team grows not even together a bit more, but it just, like, if we get some gags, if we get them, interacting together in interesting ways, I'll be super excited. Uh, do I want to put this above Lation actually? 2, 3, 4, 6. Is that really all I've read so far? I guess I have. Okay. Well, let's move on to The Last Saiyuki, Chapter 3. Oof, oh boy. The only reason I stayed in my mom's hospital room for a week was to be there for her final days. Man, The Last Saiyuki is extremely heavy. Like, there's a lot in the series that is very relatable and very heavy at the same time. Ah, Mom didn't wish for death. It wasn't her fault. Yet in the end, she apologized to me. God, I do love the characterization of the series. Like, with any series, it's difficult to do to do characterization, to make you care for a character within a chapter or two. Like, it's incredibly difficult. And I think that The Last Saiyuki has done a great job of it. Like, I do care about the entire main cast. Um, like, I don't really care about his dad that much, but even then, like, I like him enough. I'm interested in him. I want to know more about him. Because, like, he's a bad dad, but he's a bad dad that is bad for some reason that we don't fully understand. Like, that's enough of impetus to make me want to read more, to understand more. Oh, that's so gross. But yeah, like I appreciate that even that quick flashback using something we already knew like knowing that his mom died. It was just a way to get us to understand once more. Like we already had the emotion behind the idea of this home run. It's been built up for 2 chapters now. But on top of that, we understand like yeah, this is why Koharu like being quiet, trying to hide her pain, like that's why it truly bothered him. It was due to this extreme empathy, this guilt. Ah, all right. Even though it's pitch black inside the storeroom, I can see it. I can see its movements. I didn't consider that actually, but yeah, this is where he fought before. It is legitimately supposed to be pitch black. We're not supposed to be able to see anything here. So how? Like, is it because it's his own fear? You just need to know that nothing is impossible. Basically, your mo needs to be open, and you have already fulfilled its Okay, so stretching out the Nyoibo, smashing him right in the eye. Oh, gorgeous. That's incredible. Like, it doesn't even look like a kinetic impact. It looks like a slash. It looks like a slice. It looks like a attack using a bladed weapon. Also, I'm wondering if it can only stretch because I was reading Dragon Ball Multiverse a little while ago, and the Sengoku there had the ability to make his Nyoibo also get really wide, which I could see that being useful at some points, like as a shield or something. The whole like idea of a really long weapon is also super cool. So the Nyoibo, like with its ability to grow and stretch, or stretch and shrink down at will, is just it's a cool weapon. I'm surprised more series don't have a weapon like it. I guess just because like if it has that level of reach, it actually gets a bit dangerous. Like it becomes difficult to write fights that are exciting. Did you see that, Mom? I hit a home run. Okay, what is she going to say now? Interesting though. Like she was going to say she was going to say something that started with an S, then she stopped. Then she said a thing. Oh, okay, sorry, that was it. It was sorry. That's why she was going to apologize. And then at the last moment she realized like no, no, no. He doesn't want me to apologize. Okay. So you can just cut it. I guess that makes sense. Like because it can grow infinitely, all you have to do is break a piece off and then you have 2 Nyoibo. Oh, okay, interesting. That's like that is a cool way to it's like to create the masquerade, to use vampire terminology. Like to make it so that yeah, he can't fight in public because if someone sees him using the staff or using like any supernatural ability really, it has the potential to open up someone's mo. I don't think it would though. Like that's the thing. Like there's lots of things in this world that would make you believe in the impossible. But I think there's like a distinct difference between Koharu, who like actively opens people's mo. Like it's not something she does. It's not like, a thing she does that people see and then go, "Oh, that might be real." It's just like her ability is to do that forcibly. Whereas with this, it's more of just a possibility. Okay, does that mean that we're descendants of Son Goku? Hmm. Like, is this the last Saiyuki? Like, is it actually like a sequel to Journey of the West as opposed to just having like stuff from it? Okay. It's not completely unrelated to us. Sanzo set on a journey with his disciples. The reason for us, da da da. All right. Anyone in that era who is being tormented by monsters could use the Noibo to get rid of the monsters, so long as they knew how to use it. Okay, so like there are going to be multiple people who have Noibo. Also, I think this shot is incredibly cool. Like showing that yes, you can stretch it that quickly, like that long, that fast. It is essentially a gun if you use it well enough. Like it's all I think that's really cool. Like it all comes down to usage. Like he's not the best at it yet, but there's really like there's no reason for him to have to gain like extra supernatural powers. As long as he just works on using the Noibo better and better, he can just become more and more powerful until he's unbeatable. Or not unbeatable, but like, until he can take down any threats. Oh. See, when he said that, I kind of just assumed like, oh, I guess monsters were just more out there. People believed in more. People were more willing to believe in unreal things, but no. So there was someone like Koharu out there. We who have inherited the Noibo call the one who almost destroyed the world K, the demon king of chaos. This is also like to use that old template that I've been hammering on about endlessly, where chapter 1 is the premise, chapter 2 is how to like expand on the premise, how to turn it into a story, and then chapter 3 is how you like first start how you start the first big arc. this makes a lot of sense. Like, it's not a series just about Koharu as, like, the one supernatural thing. It's a series in which there are other characters like Koharu that can cause people to open up their mo. They're the danger. That's why we need Koharu around. Like, we need someone with the same power so that, like, I don't know what she could do specifically, but I imagine, like, if she learns how to use her powers more, correctly, she could probably fight them, or she could help in some way. Like, I imagine actually, like, could she potentially open up other things that are trapped within the Mo, like positive things, like gods or spirits or that kind of thing? But yeah, that makes sense. Just in case the ones who are after Kara's ability, the followers of Chaos abduct her. Okay. So, in addition to all of that, I guess it's also like, yeah, if she gets kidnapped, if she ends up like in that flash forward on on a chair, maybe she's been tortured or something, she would care about humanity enough to not use her abilities for evil. Okay, she's the only one who could open a Mo with just a word. But to put it another way, if you take your time and follow a special procedure, even human, okay. So she is unique in the sense that, like, she can do it super easily. She can do it just by speaking. Everyone else has to do, I guess it's going to be kind of like a Monster of the Week thing. It's like the old Sailor Moon. You find someone who has some dark energy or like something, and you use a scheme to open it up. Okay. Now then, everyone, farewell. Is he gonna die? Or not? Okay. Is this his demon, perhaps? Okay, never mind. For a minute, I was like, do we already have the Demon King of Chaos here? We were able to get a number of people's fears to combine into one entity. In order to open someone else's Mo, I have to take so much time gaslighting them. I want you so bad, Kei, or rather, Koharu Mori. Okay, so we are implying that she is Kei, or like the reincarnation of Kei. Interesting. Well, I'm down with this. This was a good chapter 3. Like, it was a good way to open up the series and create like an ongoing element. This also does appear to be, let's go back. Did he have it before? No. Because at first I thought it might be like a pre-staff, but the more they shoot it, it looks like it's supposed to be a Nyoibo, which is also interesting. Like, if it's not just the bad guys make monsters and then our main character has Nyoibo, but like, if the bad guys also have a Nyoibo, that could also lead to some interesting fights. Especially since it doesn't seem like using it like gives you any other abilities. Like, you don't become more invulnerable or anything. If someone else also has one and they just, expand it real far while pointing it at you, you're just dead. I do think this is cool. Like, it's setting up an interesting dynamic. And I love this idea of like having to gaslight people to create, like, to open up their Mo. Like, especially this, like, like creating a really big monster. It implies that we're going to have a lot of miniature arcs, like arcs where you have like little tiny cults or little followings or something that are all like connected to this person's plans. I think that's really interesting. Yeah, overall, Last Saiyuki, great chapter 3. Uh Honestly, I would put that like below Hell Warden, but above Actage. Like, there's a lot of promise in this chapter. So, moving right along, next is Yui Kamio Lets Loose, Chapter 2. It's interesting that he's holding on to the chains of the good Yui Kamio. Whereas with this one, it makes sense. Like, evil one's got her chain loose, she's running wild, and her friend's running after her to try tie her hair back up. Oh, actually. Oh, never mind. I get it. It's because he likes the black-haired Yui. So, of course, he would be grabbing the chain because he wants to untie it. Like, he wants to see the one he likes. Whereas she's just innocently holding onto the chain. By the way, like, I think I brought it up before, but I think these school uniforms are the coolest thing. Like, they're a bit too, like, stylish for real-world school uniforms, but they fit Yui's thing really well. Like, especially the different colored bows, like, that's so cool. And I appreciate that it doesn't seem to be pure black and whites. Like, this is more of a burgundy, and then on this version, I guess it's supposed to just be black. Huh. It could also just be like a weird coloring thing, considering that their bows aren't the same color here when they probably should be since it's a uniform. Okay. So when she was asleep, her hair was untied. And then, like, as soon as she woke up, her friend ran in and untied up the hair. But why? Like, why can't you sleep with her hair tied? I mean, I know it's difficult. I've tried to do that and it sucks, but you think Keto drinks his coffee black? Wait, what? Wait, what? Is this a pun in Japanese too? Because that is a genius pun. I love it. The chain makes her change. Oh my god, that is perfect. Like, I don't know what it was in Japanese, but in English, that is a perfect pun. That's incredible. A bunch of spoiled rich kids like you would never be able to imagine what I'm going through. Harsh words coming from a spoiled rich kid like you. Oh, she's also a life lover? How many life lovers are there? Like, they implied before it was just the three of them. I guess including her in chapter 2 is fine because, it's early, but if it turns out there's like 7 of them, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh, something just came flying through the gate. Something black. It can't be Yui, though. What? How? What happened? How did her hair get untied right now? Okay, these are all people chasing her as well. For a minute there, I was wondering if, like, she brought them in on purpose. Like, does she have a gang? Like, I really do appreciate that she is the antagonist in a sense. Like, she's basically what I wanted from Outer Mocha. Like, in Rosario, it was generally like Inner Mocha for most of the chapter, and then Outer Mocha would show up for the fights. Like, there would always be a fight at the end of the chapter or at the end of the arc if it was a multi-chapter arc. And she would kind of talk sometimes, but most of the time it would just be like, the big kick and then it's over. So, like, being able to have this proper dynamic where she's more of an actual character is the greatest. I love it. This is the first time I've seen her. I didn't count those curves. I was imagining, like, I do like this, though. Like, as a life lover, he's slowly changing. Like, it's chapter 2, and he's already changing a lot. Like, he's already associating with different people, kind of. Like, it's interesting. I'd be cool with seeing, like, just arcs that are based around him, like, without Yui really as a part of them. Like, just the situation he is in is interesting enough that I could see them doing, like, a chapter 2 just about it. Or just about, like, what his parents are like, or, weird situations he's been put in as a member of the Life Lovers. As Yui's best friend, I'm entrusted with the duty of getting up at 6 every morning to do her hair, and I have not failed even once in 5 years. Today, too, I succeeded in sending her off safe and sound. God, sitting on a park bench lit by the morning sun, it was like a painting. I was lost in gratitude for the gift of life. Like, I really do love the comedic sensibilities of the series. It's the kind of comedy where I don't laugh. I giggle very lightly, but I never fully laugh. I think that's fine, honestly. Like, it's one of those things I generally really enjoy. A series that just makes me happy constantly. Hmm. Yeah, it seems like the way she understands this is not quite correct. The delinquents definitely aren't fawning over her. Okay, please help me tie her hair once more. Okay, so you gotta find the black Yui. You've gotta just distract her long enough for her hair to be tied. I can't believe the delinquents are still around. How? This is private property, right? Like, even if it were a public school is still private property in the sense that, like, you can't just walk up on it. I'm also curious to see how, like, what her relationship is with Now, because it seems like every time she shows up, Now immediately tries to, to tie up her hair and, like, suppress her. So, like, how? Like, how do they still have a fun relationship? Shouldn't she be super mad at Now all the time? I guess it comes down to, like, what the chain does. Like, is it a full separate personality, or does it just, like, restrict parts of her personality? Oh, oh boy, oh no. I mean, can she survive this? Is this okay? Okay, nice, nice, nice. Caught her right in midair. Okay, so she's going back to normal. Oh no, I'm on top of a young man. What have I been doing? God, and that's where we're ending it. This is great. Man, the series is fantastic. Um, where would I put it? I guess I'll stick it Below Last Saiyuki. I don't know. Was it as good as Act Osh this week? Not quite. I think it was better than Lation. It has the We Never Learn problem, where like generally We Never Learn beats all these series, but like once I start getting into like One Piece and Promised Neverland, it's always hard to tell like how do these stack up to We Never Learn because they're such different series. Like if I were just reading them in normal life without this ranking thing I decided to do, I would never like try to rank them together. They're so absurdly different. Their appeals are so different. So it's always tricky. I'll think about it. Like, this is the end of the pre-recorded segments. I'll be moving on to the live stream, not today because it's too late, but tomorrow, hopefully. Around tomorrow, I'll also potentially look at these, maybe reorganize them. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hello, everyone. This is Thermite, and this is the live stream portion of this of this video. Starting off with We Never Learn, Chapter 103. Okay, it's a Sekijo chapter. Or not necessarily a Sekijo chapter, but it's a chapter in which Sekijo is in it. That's relatively rare. I mean, I like her enough, but like, she's not a main girl, and I do appreciate that though. Like, I appreciate any series like this, like a harem or a like slice of life, where there are characters that aren't the main characters who can show up from time to time. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know if this is a Sekijo chapter. She might just be like, playing wing girl for someone else. Okay. What's the invention you wanted to show us? Oh boy, we're getting some We Never Stone in the opposite direction. Usually when I say that, I mean it's We Never Learn stuff happening in Dr. Stone, but this feels like a bit of Dr. Stone and We Never Learn. One day D? Wait, what? Oh, trendy. Oh my god. Okay, that is fantastic. Trendy? Extra strong 15-hour. Oh my god. Oh boy. Is there a trope for this? For the special glue that glues two people together in a series? I mean, that sounds so incredibly specific, but I know I've seen multiple series that have done something like that. Oof, that's a big mood. Anytime someone repeats the exact same thing twice because they're looking for a reaction, that hits me. That hits me hard. Hmm. Also, 15 hours is very specific. Like, it's not 24 hours, it's not 12 hours, it's not like 8 hours, which I assume would be like the amount of time they'd be at school. It's 15. Why? Why 15 specifically? Mm, okay, well. Okay, it's gotta be Yuiga then. Oh no. Oh no. I cannot believe that he notices Ogata's chest in this moment, while we have the super special glue that is threatening to tear his skin off. Okay, but don't worry, it wears off after 15 hours. Wait, okay, is that why? Oh man, this clock doesn't even have lines on it. I can't tell what time it is. But okay, so I guess it is so they can wake up in bed together. Ah, this is a big deal. Oh no, oh no. Oh, that's not even the. I thought that was just more 15-hour holds or 15-hour trendy. This is never liquid. Wait, never liquid? That sounds even more plot devicey than 15-hour trendy. No, it's just a slimy liquid. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, Straight Banana. Yep, finally, another stream. I still have to keep my voice down, but for the most part, it's going to be a good stream. And it's a One Punch Man stream, if I didn't send out the thing before. I think I did. I think it says One Punch Man. Yeah. Oh boy, this is... I don't even know if this is lewd. I was just talking to someone about this actually. Like the use of slimy things or lotion or just goopy things in a lewd context. I'm not going to get too in depth with it. That's not what we're here for, but I wonder what color this would be in the anime. Like, would they go all in and make it white, or would they go with like green or purple or blue? I feel like that makes all the difference. Like, green slime is inherently childish. It's fun. It's, like Nickelodeon slime. Whereas white slime is, it's very different. This is also the weirdest pairing. Like, I get why we're doing the pairing, because, you gotta have Yuiga in there. But it would actually work a lot better if it was Yuiga and Ogata, since they already have tension. Or if it were Sekijo and Ogata, because, like, Sekijo has a deep crush on her. Like, this is the least crushy combination, which I guess does add, like, a level of safety to this ship. But at the same time, like, it feels like a lost cause, because it's also, it's Sekijo's experiments. So even if it was Yuiga and Ogata, like, there would still be a reason for Sekijo to be around. She could just be like, oh, I need to collect research. I need to make sure it's exactly 15 hours. Okay. My parents are totally hands off. They both work and they're not around much. We really don't know that much about her, so that's actually completely new information. Cool. Oh, warm from that wonderful, wonderful, like, body heat. Body heat is, like, the best. I mean, I guess it's because, like, it is the perfect human temperature. Like, when something comes off of someone else and it's perfectly warm, it's their exact temperature, it's the best. Anyways, so that was getting a bit too lewd. I guess my internet didn't like it. As always, I am counting, like, when my stream goes down and when it doesn't. This is the first time in 944 pings that it went down, which thankfully only went down for like 10 seconds, but still. Oof, that's well, for the volumes, I imagine it'll be better. Like, I don't want to nitpick when it comes to typesetting and stuff when it comes to, like, the weekly release, just because, like, they have a very quick turnaround because they get the raws from Japan and they have like 2 or 3 days to do it. Like, this is fine. It's respectable. Oh my god. Okay, this is a good Sekijo. Like, this is traditional Sekijo. She looks good. I like the bun. The bun always looks good. But I think this version, not this one, this version of Sekijo, that's nice. Like, just having that excess hair from the bun is super cool. I also appreciate any mangaka who, like, keeps that in mind, who, like, gives girls different hairstyles and then keeps track of how much hair that hairstyle would, like, realistically use up. Like, I've been recently rewatching Sailor Moon, and it bothers me every single time. Like, we only see it like once a season, but every once in a while we'll see Usagi with her hair down, like completely down, and it looks so weird because her hair is usually the same length, whether she has the odango up or not. And those odango, like, they have to take up a lot of hair. Like, it takes a lot, especially if you're Japanese. Like, if you have really thin hair, like, oh my god, of course. Where did she get these plushies from? Also, this is a legendary picture. I don't think we actually got this in unit. Like, I don't think we had a chapter that correlates to this, but it does fit really well. See, as much as I like this, I do really wish it was Sekijo and Rizu, like, being glued together, because then she could have just given Yuiga a note, and then Yuiga would have had to come in here and experience this by himself. Okay, they just put it all in a pile. I can understand that, though. Like, oh my god, I just noticed the pile here. Okay, so it is. Wait, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Sorry. I thought. Yeah, I was messed up with the angles, but no, that is consistent. But did they leave something out? Oh, right, right. Oh yeah, I didn't even catch their, like, which hands were glued. So it's Sekijo's left and it's Yuiga's right. Aw. God, this face. This is such a good face. Yuiga is such a pure boy. And I really do appreciate the amount of effort he puts into this. Like, he does do personalized notes for everyone every single day. Like, in terms of wanting to be a teacher, like, he has what you need. He has that necessary quantity for being an amazing teacher. Yeah, what are you thinking? He's Rizu's crush. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I cannot believe that worked. I mean, we're dealing with Three's Company logic. The logic of, if someone sees something for just a moment, for just 1 second, and then you quickly remove it and tell them they didn't see it, they won't believe that they saw it. So I guess this is okay. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, I was just mentioning, like, if it was Ogata and Narayuki, it would make sense for Oh, no, never mind, never mind. They did explain it. They did say that she's here so it doesn't feel weird to have a boy over. But yeah, why did they sleep in their uniforms? I mean, we already had her naked once. Why not just do it again to get the uniforms off? Oh boy. Okay. That's a power move. I mean, we have seen this before, but still, even unconscious, like I've definitely noticed a difference between when I fall asleep with someone I really like versus when I fall asleep with just someone I don't like in terms of the amount of movements I do in my sleep. Like, if I'm uncomfortable with someone else being in the same bed, I will definitely thrash around a lot. Whereas if someone's in my bed and I'm cool with it, I tend to move around a lot less, or I tend to like move towards them unconsciously. Like, I feel like there's got to be something to it. I'm sure that's not the same for everyone. Like, if you move around a lot in your sleep in general, it probably doesn't matter who's there, but like, there's got to be some sort of subconscious impact there. Like, there has to be something that makes you think, like, oh, there's danger, therefore I'll move more. Or, this is an okay place to be, therefore I will relax and not move as much. I don't know. I might be overanalyzing it. How can I possibly sleep like this? I mean, that seems pretty heavenly. My God, that's amazing. That is top tier. Okay, so they're free. It's a new school day. I guess part of the reason why it was 15 hours specifically was so that they didn't have to like explain why they were holding hands all throughout an actual school day. Oh, okay, okay. I legitimately thought that we were going to end it with her just being like, nothing happened, whatever. But no, it was legit. It was like it was 100% accurate. She really like how do I put this? She knew what she was doing. This was a planned tactic. It was a sneaky maneuver. I can absolutely respect that. I'm sorry, that was just jealousy. Chapter ends. Good chapter. Not my favorite, honestly. Like, I feel like there's a lot of missed potential here. The goofs weren't the greatest. It was very, like, coasting on its laurels. Usually I have We Never Learn, like, at the very top above all the pre recorded stuff, but this time, like, speaking realistically, looking at it, and I've been trying this week to specifically not discount series that I read first. Like, I do have a tendency of having something like Actage or Black Clover just kind of sink to the bottom, not because they're bad series, but because I just think like, oh, this other series deserves to be in the middle, which devalues series that were just there already that I put more thought into. So thinking about it realistically, like I do think this was better than Yui Kamio. Like Yui Kamio, very meh. Actage, bit better. It was exciting. We got to see something really cool. So I think We Never Learn fits right in the middle there. All right. So that's the We Never Learn segment. Next is One Punch Man, Chapter 91. Let's go. Starting off with Tatsumaki. I'm excited and a bit worried. Oh, I should probably put this divider here. I apologize. Last time I did not do that at all. And the whole point of that, by the way, is that if you're watching the archives, you can look at the stream and, like, you see One Punch Man, you don't look anything above that. Or, you see One Piece, you don't look anything above that. So on and so forth. So I am excited and a tiny bit worried. I am aware, just from, like, people who read the fan scans, that there is something termed, like, Saitama-less hell or something to that regard. Like, there's just a long stretch in which there's no main progress being done, it's all side fights, which I'm okay with, honestly. Like, I like a lot of the side heroes. But ever since I learned about that, I've been keeping my eyes out for when are we going to delve into the hell of nothing but side fights. Okay. Okay, so this is Child Emperor doing this. For a minute there, I was wondering, like, is this Drive Knight? Or, no, Metal Knight? Okay, which means each hero must defeat at least 60 monsters. That wouldn't be a problem. Oh, is this covers fan service? Uh, honestly, I don't know. I was talking to Donut about this recently, like, not the appeal of flat chests, but just like, I don't know, like just kinks in general. And when I look at this, like, I don't know. I don't think I would consider this be fan service. Like, there's too much rib showing. It feels more like it feels more clinical than sexy. Though to be fair, again, like I'm not a good judge of the female body, and also when any series has like a short character or like a lowly character, like Tatsumaki, even though she is an older person, I have a hard time like gauging how attractive they're meant to be. Just because like I'm not usually like I don't think to sexualize this kind of character design. So I find it difficult to then, if it is sexualized, to determine whether it is or isn't. The ribs are the appeal. I don't like even on a guy. I feel like if you have too much rib, it just looks weird. Like it's concave. Is that a kink? Also, her boobs kind of look circular. Like they look kind of like implants. Eh, I don't know. It just might not be my thing. So moving forward. Oh, that's a cool 3D image of Sentichoro. Wait, does that mean the Child Emperor had like drones around just to film Sentichoro? Because like that's a really clear 3D image, and I assume it's supposed to be like the recording of him attacking. Okay, more of them on the Demon, Dragon, or higher. God, uh, God, Pig is the worst. His existence is repulsive. Wait, was he there? Was Prairie Prisoner there? Oh no. They're talking about the parasites, the ones that like branched off. Okay. This is nice though. Like it's been a long time, both for me specifically, but even like when it comes to the normal release schedule, like because Murata redoes chapters, whatnot, it's been a while since we had the Sentichoro fight. Like it's nice to recap things. I mean, they're all responding the way I expect them to respond, so I don't have much to say here. Wait, is this Prisoner again? Okay, sure. Okay, so it's personal for him. Yeah, it is legitimately really perfect. I mean, it's not the like the first chapter they released after a super duper ultra long break, but it is very appreciated. I intend to try a combo of Angel Hug and Awakening Deep Kiss. Oh boy, there has got to be Rule 34 of that. Honestly, I would actually love it if in one of these like upcoming fights we see Prisoner like not unmonsterize someone. I think that'd be like taking the gag a bit too far, but like trying it and having it like be a moment where it's like half goofy, half like legitimately it's like a legitimate attempt at saving someone. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think they're I mean, especially Orochi, I think is probably beyond Dragon, for sure. Gyara, I mean, this is all depending on the idea that Orochi is, in fact, a separate character, which I talked about a lot before. I don't believe it, but the series has presented a lot of evidence to say that he is. Like the only thing I have to say that he's not actually, Orochi, that he's not a separate being, that he's not, that he is a meat puppet, is entirely a theory. So if I'm going to do any like genuine speculation, I guess I have to assume that Orochi is, legitimately the Monster King and not just a puppet. I mean, that is legitimately a pretty valid tactic. Also, her ribs are much less visible here. Like, I think this, like, if I had to compare this to the cover page, I think this would be. Oh boy, I'm getting an Amber Alerts. I mean, I can't really do anything about that, but oops, that's worrying. That's also a really good map of the base. Like, I mean, I guess it's not the best because we don't get to see, like, what's beyond all of these branching things. But, like, that's the main area they're going to fight in, so sure, that's fine. Wait, who is this? I mean, we don't have the scar, so there's no way it's King. Who would even... Wait, what? Wait, what? Am I Mask? Wait, he's not even in S-Class. What is he doing here? I mean, I'd say this is... I wouldn't call it super fan servicey, but I guess it is. Like, you can see his musculature. You can see, like, a tiny hint of abs, just a little bit. The pendant also draws your attention towards them. I think this is fine. Right. Other classes are going to be surface backup, so how can I put this so he won't be offended? I'm also, like, I'm really glad he's here. Like, the anime especially put in that extra scene with Amai Mask like menacing Genos. So I'm super curious to see what Amai Mask will do in the manga. Like I'm assuming the anime buildup is just like it's building up to something that will happen in the manga as well. But just the manga didn't have time to to build him up as such. Oh my god, this is his favorite page. I can 100% believe that. I actually have on my ranking sheets two things. One of which is to look for Donut's favorite One Punch Man page, which I would not have guessed. I was going to read the whole thing before making a shot, and I honestly don't know if I would have guessed this. And then my second one would have just been something about One Piece. Reverse hockey, maybe. I'll explain that in the One Piece segments. Uh, Honestly, not my favorites. It's okay, but yeah. It looks like something out of Death Notes, like just a random shot of a character in Death Notes. Apart from the subtle musculature, like, that's pretty well done, but everything else is just, it's average. Oh, Banana, how could you? Banned! No, I'm not gonna ban you. I mean, I assume this is the setup for someone else to deeply offend my mask. Yes, that's true. They did explain that he is, like, he's worthy of being an S-class, and he is part of, like, the overall group they gathered. I forgot about that until I started, like, talking about it. Oof. Okay. I mean, yeah, of course, if anyone here, it would be Tatsumaki who would immediately reject him. I mean, how are you going to explain this to him in a way that doesn't piss him off? I love the tiny little sweat drop on Child Emperor. Like, he's clearly not okay with this. He's worried. This is not a good time. Okay, fair enough. So we are getting all the samurai. Wait, what? 20 more pizzas? Jesus. Okay, if you want my leadership ability, then place yourselves under my commands. I mean, is he really going to stick with this? Is he really going to make this, like, a thing to fight over? Oh, okay. So, I don't remember if anyone's ever brought this up, but this has been, like, an ongoing thing in the fan community. Like, what's going on with Zombie Man? Because most of the heroes we have seen in One Punch Man are not supernatural. Most of them have just a skill that has been trained. I mean, they're supernatural in the sense that obviously they're stronger than a normal human being could possibly be. But for the most part, it tends to be like a physical attribute that could be like theoretically reproduced. Like if you trained hard enough, or if ki is real, then certain martial arts would work. But Zombie Man is the only hero that is like 100% not like okay. Let's also exclude the psychics. Obviously, we have 2 psychics. Maybe 3 if you count psychos. But Zombie Man is just like, he's separate from all of that. We don't know anyone else like him. It's like, what is he? Is he an experiment? Is he someone who also broke his limiter? Very unlikely. Is he a monster? Wait, is Zombie Man already explained? I remember there being talk about him being the result of experiments, but I don't remember if that was like fully confirmed. I definitely forgot it if it came up. Not gonna lie, it's been a while. In the manga a few chapters ago, I'll have to reread it. Oh, House of Evolution experiment. Yes, I do remember that. I didn't remember that was like a thing we had confirmed. I thought that was a theory. I guess that does make him kind of borderline though. Like, I assume this entire conflict is here because My Mask hates monsters, and Zombie Man is definitely on the borderline from what's the difference between a monster and someone who is who has a special power. You've got the combat skills for Class S, but the rest of you is a mystery. Can I really view you as an ally? I mean, what My Mask is saying is not incorrect. Like, as we know later on, like, the Hero Association has to be reformed. Like, that does happen. And what he's saying here does seem to, like, dovetail into that idea. Especially, like, yeah, the Class S heroes are extremely, utterly, bizarrely flawed. Oh, that's Pig God, isn't it? I 100%, as I looked at that, I assumed it was a My Mask. It might still be a My Mask, actually. I mean, because Pig God is drinking cola here, I assume it's gotta be him. You're not even that handsome. Wait a minute. Oh boy. So here's some more Thermite forgetting things. Was handsome common his hero name or like a side name or something? I only remember it from the scanlations when I used to read them, and from the webcomic, I think. I remember part of it was just, like, one word is English, one word is Japanese. I thought that was the thing behind My Mask. Like, did the official translation use both? Also, is Pig God talking? I guess he is. It's just like, there's nothing pointing to him. Oh, never mind, I see it. There's like a tiny little bump there. I think it's the tiniest little bump. So I guess it is Pig God talking. I mean, I assume so. I assume that if it's a panel and one person's in it and those are the bubbles, like either someone's talking around them or no. This can't be him talking. No, it is just yeah, it's the conversation going around him. Never mind. I'm dumb. Yeah, he's busy giving the cola the big suck. I was gonna say, if this was Pig God, like, it's weird that he has an opinion about this. Of course. Okay, of course. Of course Puri Puri Prisoner would be into this. Flashy Flash, not into it. Seems like a Blackluster is kind of neutral. Or, he's nervous. He's not okay with this. So, like, what are we getting? Are we gonna get a legitimate fight, maybe? Or is it just going to be a My Mask flexing? Oh, boy. Oh, that is extremely swole. This might just be a thing that My Mask has always had, but I'm looking at the layering on his hair, and it looks so much like something done in, oh, was it Obata? The artist of Death Notes. Like, the layering of his hair looks so specific, especially compared to other characters who have short hair, like Child Emperor. Like, something about it is just, it's very evocative of, like, Light's hair. He does look like Dan Kuroto. White-haired Dan Kuroto, I guess. But yeah, I do. He's got the same psycho vibe. He's got the triggered feeling. He's got the crazy eyes. The mouth isn't big enough, though. But I guess that's to be expected. God, I love Flashy Flash's hair barrettes. Like, the fact that they aren't, like, they are a physical thing he has, but at the same time, like, they're never drawn like they're made of metal. They're always drawn just as, the Kira Kira effects. It's the best. I love it. Oh boy, King's here. Okay. Oh, man. Why are you so filthy? And you stink. What was the explanation before? I mean, I assume it's going to be something like, he was doing recon or he was fighting all day or something. Come on, King, just don't say anything. Or I guess he could lie, but I like it better when he's not the one who lies. Like, I appreciate it whenever it's just everyone else coming to conclusions around him. There we are. That's what I wanted. There it is. Why do these guys always get the wrong idea? Okay, apparently some class S heroes are alright. Even getting the approval of My Mask, my god. Legit my god. What is this pose? I mean, I guess he is kind of a model, so it is sort of a modeling pose. Sure, King replied in the affirmative, but his eyes were dead. Oh boy. I hope we get to, like, them rolling out at the very least in this chapter. Let's soon depart. Come on, I want them to depart this chapter, please, please, please. You weren't wrong. This is the fight of our time. Winning it will secure my advancement and engrave my name in history. I am... Again, there's not enough here for me to guess at what his overall game is, but I'm curious. I'm curious enough. Again, knowing me, they probably mentioned it like 5 chapters ago and I've completely forgotten. I really need to do a One Punch Man read-through, or like read through. Oh boy, so I guess this is the surface team. Oh boy, who is this? This is a design I do not remember. Captain Mizuki. Okay, so I guess she's like an Olympian or something. Oh, no. She's just like someone who competes a lot in tournaments. So that's like her entire mindset. Okay. See, I genuinely do think this is fan service. I don't think the shot with Tatsumaki, like, both of the shots we saw thus far are not that sexual. Whereas, like, but this, like, you can see her abs, you can see, like, the bulge. You can't see any camel toe, but, like, you can see the bulge at the very least, and you've got, like, she's wearing, like, a sports bra of sorts. Like, I feel like this is legitimately very fan servicey. And, like, her hair's all, like, falling down one side like a waterfall. Yeah, I can imagine. There has to be a Captain Mizuki. I mean, I assume the name they had in the scans is different, so the version that you can find on, like, Rule 34 is probably different. But I'll give her a look. Oh boy, now that's a design. This is an edgy boy. Like, I love how One Punch Man has, like, everyone is designed wonderfully. The design, like, I don't think there's a bad design in One Punch Man. Like, everyone is designed the way they need to be. No one looks bad. No one looks like they were just, like, crapped out. But there is a distinct difference in like the characters where you can feel like they'll be around for a while, and the ones that are elaborate enough, like they're elaborate enough that you're supposed to feel like they'll stick around, but because of how elaborate they are, you know they're probably going to be one-shotted, or they're going to be killed to make an example. Feather here feels like he's going to be made an example of. He really does. I think he looks cool, but his head is going to be separated from his neck in no time whatsoever. So we've got One-Shotter, we've got Crescent Moon Thick Brows. That's a dope name. Is this man actually psychic? Like, we've had so very few psychics in One Punch Man that it's never been like a thing. We've never like had a definite source for where psychic powers come from. It's just expected that like, it is a thing that exists. Some people are psychic, whatever. But because we have so few of them, I feel like we're eventually going to get a story that ties into like maybe not the origins of psychic power, but like I feel like we're going to get exploration of everything that isn't just being a tough boy. The idea of someone else who is psychic, who is like manga exclusive, is interesting. Oh, is Feather from the webcomic? I could see that. Like, if you simplify it a lot, I could definitely see like it being a one design. Like, a lot of background one heroes are very chunky in the sense that like they have a few traits that make them very easily discernible. And I do think like if you remove like 90% of this detail, he would still look very discernible and very like, one drawable. Oh boy, Needle Star. I I don't like him. I don't like him. This is not a design I like. He looks too real. Like, I've definitely known people who look like this. Whereas, like, with Feather, for instance, like, he gives off sort of a Sephiroth vibe, vaguely, but it's, it's enough that he's unique. Or, like, One-Shotter, he looks fun. Or, like, even Gearspur. Whereas, like, Needle Star, he feels too real. Don't like him. Don't worry, I believe some of them will someday make Class S. Oh, this is a nice moment, though. Like, we don't have enough combinations of characters. We don't have enough like background characters that all interact with one another in a fun way. Like we get that sometimes with Class S vaguely, and we get it in Saitama's apartment every once in a while. Like that's the main place we get it. But like this is heartwarming. I love it. Oh my god! I just realized Gearspur almost certainly like controlled her body, right? Oh, that's cool. That's a really cool background gag then. Aren't they formidable shield for defending humanity? Stitch's sweat intensifies. No, I think they're cool. Like, they're not the greatest, sure, but, like, I'm down with this. Oh, right. This was a thing. This was a plot element. You and King defeated Senchichoro, but, like, did you release Garo on purpose? Are you soft? Yeah, maybe they think you didn't finish off Garo because you held back. I do appreciate also that like Garo is being consistently underestimated. It's fun. He does have the Saitama like echo, or his character arc has echoes of Saitama's character arc. That's what I meant to say. Oh boy, a wild king shows up. Oop, rip. Well, this is how he finds out. His engine was really humming. He must be focusing before the big fights. I don't know why I thought this. I just assumed that Pig God was like looking at something on a laptop, maybe looking at some porn. I didn't consider that it was a box of pizza, which makes a lot of sense considering he just ordered 20 pizzas. That's actually surprising. Like I assumed it was going to be that everyone like no one knew where Saitama was, and so they would have to go in hoping that he would show up. But it seems like King's already like 5 steps ahead of that. It's like he understands. Yeah, Saitama almost certainly went in. Or like he doesn't know it, but once he connects the dots, he'll know. I didn't fully process that bubble. That actually completely reverses everything I was about to say. Would you, Bald Cape and Demon Cyborg secretly accompany my attack? He really does need to just have Saitama on the payroll. Like, he needs to hire Saitama as like his Kagemusha or his, his body double. There's really no reason not to now that I think about it. Like more and more so. Like apart from Saitama having to just increase his quota by defeating monsters, like apart from that, he can do that anytime he wants. Like there's no reason for him not to hire Saitama. Interesting look from Bomb, but okay. The King engine has stopped. He's calm, cool, and collected. Oh my god. Okay. This is a fantastic two-page spread. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Who in the world is this in the background with like the super high, almost bunny-like twin tails? God, I really do love the Child Emperor is the one yelling "Let's go" here. It's so shonen. I love it. Pig God is so out of focus you can only see his shirts. Oh yeah. Oh my god. I did not notice that. I legitimately just assumed it was like a billboard or something. Which I guess you could mistake Pig God for being a billboard a lot of the time. There's a lot of angles you could use to make Pig God not be there. Mask expression is really good. I really like Flashy Flashes. Like, Flashy Flash in general is just a design I really, really love. So I'm glad he got, like, not prime focus, but he got, like, a big part of this two-page spread. I can see liking Darkshine. Darkshine does look great here. Like, I can never take him seriously because, like, he's surpassed the level at which I can appreciate musculature. Like, in the same way that I can't really look at, like, actual bodybuilders in real life. Because, like, just the proportions look weird. And I get, like, it's not meant for us. It's meant for people who want to see that cultivation of muscle. So, like, I appreciate it, but I never look at him and go, like, oh yeah, Darkshine looks great here. It's always just like, that sure is Darkshine. God, also, this chapter is going on forever. I'm not going to look at the number of pages we have left, though. I want to be surprised. I bet Tornado told him to cut me out. Okay, that's good foreshadowing for the eventually sister fight. What? Did I just say eventually sister fight? The eventual sister fights. Did we ever actually explain that? Oh, wait a minute. Was it that she calls the new team she's with, like, with Saitama and everyone, the new Blizzard Bunch? I think that's it. Also, what happened to Genos? What in the world happened to Genos? I mean, it's not a bad design, but what? Increase the horsepower without reducing armor, so you must regulate yourself as you fight. Okay. Oof, that's a good design. I really like it. Like, it looks like something kind of out of Alien. Oh, what's that really dark, futuristic roleplay series? But, like, it definitely has a, like, dark paladin vibe to it that I really like dark cyborg paladin. It definitely is meant to, like, this is clearly meant to look like an eye. I think in the back it also kind of, yeah, here this looked like an eye, this looked like a mouth, sort of. It's a very dark, scary design. Okay, 10 seconds is the limit. I would love, 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 love if we get a fight here where Genos manages to defeat someone, like, pushing his body to the limits, it doesn't immediately explode, and then he gets taken out and turned into modern art. I think that'd be great. Like, one thing I've really appreciated about the Murata redraw is that Genos looks so much better, and, like, his fights are so much better. Which I get. I get that's the point of his character, both here and in the webcomic, to lose. Like, he's the traditionally cool character who is not nearly as powerful as Saitama. Like, I get that. But I do appreciate that his fights have been getting more and more legitimately, unabashedly cool. Really, really, really setting that up. I also do appreciate that it's a forbidden technique. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, if you use it, you'll die / you'll be destroyed. Now that I think about it, I don't think there's any series currently running in Shonen Jump that has something like that, or, like, of the series I'm reading. I guess there's, like, technically Gear Second in One Piece, but, like, it isn't treated like that anymore. I'm talking about a technique that is treated as being the end game. If you use this, you could die move, or if you use this, you could, like, shorten your lifespan significantly move. It used to be, like, a super popular thing, but the more I think about it, the less I can think of currently running series that do that. I guess Deku going 100%, but actually, yes, you know what? You are right. In the sense that, like, it's something he is forbidden from doing, and he doesn't do it. Like, the one time he did it, like, no spoilers for My Hero Academia, but, like, it is legitimately something that the series treats as, like, he can't do it. It's not about saying he can't do it. He legitimately will not do that, even if it's super duper dangerous, unless very special circumstances are in play. Yeah, thanks, Damage. That's actually a really good point. I didn't consider that, even though it is the most obvious one. Because, like, every other series I can think of doesn't do that, either because, like, it's not a fighting series, it's not a series that would involve something like that, or Like, even for the fighting ones, it just seems to be a very rare tactic. Anyways, um, sorry, I got kind of lost there. Oh, okay, that's why we cut between both of them. Yeah, my status as Master's Pupil justifies my presence. Like, we're not the new Blizzard bunch. That is true, but I mean, like, I doubt Genos doesn't know that. Like, Genos is incredibly naive, but at the same time, I assume he knows that, like, yeah, we're not paying rent, but I'm still paying rent to Master so he can survive. Gassing your enemies is a forbidden technique. Oh yeah, that's right. Last chapter, we saw Saitama looking at the I was going to say glory hole. That's not what those are called. The manhole. That's right. So he's definitely gone. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Like King and the King group, I guess. What do we call these people? The Saitama party. They're all going to show up here. They're going to realize that Saitama's not here. Maybe King will make the connection that Saitama's already at the enemy base. Maybe he won't. Okay, I get it. I know what's happening now. Oh man, the markings under Genos's eye just like I've been reading a lot of Alita recently, like rereading it, and I also just read some more Mars Chronicle, and I can't look at him now without thinking of Alita, and to a lesser extent Naruto. It looks vaguely like Naruto's weird whatever those are. I mean, the series is over, and we still don't know what in the world is on his face. Whereas with this is definitely more like Alita. Like it is actually a metal thing on his body, on his head. What is a glory hole if not a manhole? Donatsu 2019. It is true, honestly. Like, no more tangents. This is going on for far too long. I don't want to get lewd here. I see you have assembled. Oh boy, the King engine. It's starting back up. All right. I mean, she is legitimately a all-right leader. Like, she's never steered the Blizzard Bunch wrong. She isn't the greatest leader, but like she's good enough. She's not bad. She's not like legitimately horrible. And I do appreciate that she's taking some of the heat and the stress off of King here. Whether she knows it or not. I mean, she doesn't know, but still. If we're going, then we all go. Every one of us, the new Blizzard Bunch. Okay, so she did name them the new Blizzard Bunch. Okay. The rest of you should go ahead, and I will wait for Master. So, this is setting up the group that we know will go down to the Monster Association. It leaves Genos behind. I don't remember what Genos did in the Monster Association arc, but I assume this is set up specifically so that, like, when things go real south, like when we get the earthquake and the sinkhole and everything, like, that's when Genos goes out, and then we get to see his awesome new moves. Okay, yep, we're going without Saitama. Don't worry, King, you can do this. Okay, and Saitama is like, he's not in the base, he's just wandering around the sewers. Very cool shot, by the way. Like, I always appreciate the almost Pun-Pun-esque, like, shots Murata will do, where it's Saitama looking very simple, very classic, like, low quality, and then the background around him is super duper ultra detailed, almost certainly referenced from something. It's a strong aesthetic. Oh, Genos did go down in the webcomic. Also, no, I don't mean his whiskers. Naruto has shown repeatedly that, like, at different angles, they don't lift off of his face. Like, they're not whiskers. They're not, like, actual hair. You can't shave them. They're just there, whatever they are. I'm just going to assume that Genos fought a monster and got wrecked in the Monster Association arc. I mean, that's a pretty good bet. I can remember those general beats, so I'm sure it happens. But yeah, I really want Genos to, like, be good normally, and then I want to see those 10 seconds work out well. Like, I don't want him to fight Orochi or something and then get immediately trashed, like, without those 10 seconds mattering. I want him to have an incredibly cool 10 out of 10 fights, and then I want him to be crushed. Are they scars in the shape of whiskers? Zaku. Are they, though? Like, is that a fan theory, or is that actually correct? Because I'm pretty sure throughout all of Naruto, I am certain, actually, that they never explain what those are. I could be wrong, though, but I'm fairly sure, because it's been something that's bugged me all the time. I mean, these aren't spoilers for Naruto. This is an anti-spoiler. I don't believe we ever learn what in the world is going on with his face. I'll ask you, Zaku, how do you know? Did the secret German OP include a mention of Naruto using a razor blade to cut his face open to give himself those scars? I I will wait for your response. It's fine to put it up when I start the new chapter because it's not spoilers for One Punch Man. God, Zaku. God. Okay, well, we are moving along. Next is One Piece, chapter 936. One Piece, chapter 936. Sumo Inferno. Wait, what? Okay. Sumo Inferno. I mean, we do have the Yokozuna. Yeah, that was his name, right? Or no, that wasn't his name, but that's like, the title of the number one sumo wrestler. There was that Yokozuna who was like very early on. He was fighting to get the one girl who we now know is a ninja. Are we going back to that? I thought I mean, there are no truly bit characters in One Piece, but I assumed we would just like leave him forever. Yeah, by the way, for anyone wondering, I'm discussing whether Naruto's things on his face are scars, or are they whiskers, or what in the world's going on. So you might see that in chats. I I adamantly believe we are never told in any way what those are. I don't even think the data books, which go into deep detail on jutsu we never actually see named. There's some jutsu that are in the data books that are just like, oh yeah, you saw that in the background once. You remember that beam of energy? Yeah, that's a jutsu. This is what it is. Even in the data books, they never, ever, ever explain what's going on with Naruto's face. Oh, I forgot to rank the One Punch Man chapter. Sorry, I was being triggered. We Never Learn was right in the middle. One Punch Man, pretty good. I was worried going into it. I'm worried that we're going to enter the unranked or the no Saitama, no main plot progression hell. But that does not actually apply to this chapter. This was a solid chapter. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's better than the Black Clover chapter. I do think it was better than the Hell Warden. I don't know. I'll put it above the Hell Warden chapter. It was really, really good. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. Thanks for reminding me, Damage. Okay, so what are we doing on this cover? How could she accidentally freezing Wanze's bowl of ramen? Oh boy! This is I mean, it's not a callback per se. It's as much a callback as any of these cover pages, but Wanze, really? I didn't think anyone remembered Wanze. I forgot. Like, I mean, I can't forget him. How do you forget this? But oh boy, it's been a long time since I've thought about him. It's an alright gag, I guess. Okay, moving on. In Udon Province, in Wano. Oh right, Kawamatsu. God, I've been reading a lot of Osamatsu-san, or not reading. I've been watching it like every week with my boyfriends, and every time I see the name of Kawamatsu, which has been twice. It's been twice in One Piece that I can remember. I keep on reading as Karamatsu in my head. 13 years of eating rotten fish has finally paid off. Show me your face, Kawamatsu. This does bother me. Like, I know it is just an established thing that exists in One Piece, but it bothers me whenever someone uses a thought bubble to refer to someone whispering or to, like communicating silently. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. Are we going to see him? Like, I feel like because we've hidden his design for so long, like regardless of whether it's something we should recognize or not, I feel like we're going to see it like at the end of this chapter or at the end of a chapter at the very least. Someone standing in front of the cell that never opens. I mean, that is legitimately very suspicious. With any other cell, you could assume something's going on, but with this, like, it's the cell that never opens. Oh boy, he's gonna have to fight Monkey Girl, or I guess he has to leave. I mean, he's a ninja. He's not supposed to fight. It was a ninja. Half of CP9 couldn't keep their jobs, and Wanze did. Oh yeah, that's true. I guess he is wearing the world government's uniform here. When I looked at it, I just kind of assumed like, oh, he's probably just wearing a ramen shop uniform. Like, this is probably just saying that he's out there somewhere. But no, I guess he does still work for the world government. That is pretty wild. Oh, sorry, went too far ahead. Oh, no, I didn't. I already read this page. Never mind, I was right all along. Okay, it's Queen's special device performance, the Sumo Inferno. I mean, to be fair, Queen is definitely a character that I think would be like the ultimate sumo wrestler. Like, can you imagine anyone beating Queen in a sumo fight? Also, this is a bit of a tangent, but if anyone knows Kuro-chan, like the big fat bald guy in Japan who does like comedy sketches, I keep on thinking of Queen as having his voice. Though like I doubt they would actually use that voice because like he has a very high pitched voice, and I feel like that would step on the big combining with rock guy from Dressrosa. Like it's the same gag, except this isn't even a gag. Like they've never like Queen's gag is all about like him legitimately thinking he's super sexy and everyone else also thinking he's awesome. So I feel like he would definitely have more of a like legitimate, maybe deep voice, maybe not. I feel like he'd have a very normal voice actually. Like it's cool, but it's not that goofy. He would have a deep, funky voice. I would actually love it, legitimately love it, if in the dub they had a big baritone black guy play him, because he does have that feeling. He has that appeal of being like a like either a big baritone black guy or maybe someone like Prince actually, because Prince also had that whole thing of like Prince was not that sexy, but he exuded this aura of sexiness that made you think like, oh man, this is the hottest man in the universe. I feel like that's what Queen is like. Like, even if objectively you're like, this guy isn't sexy, if you're physically there, you'd get caught up in the hype. Wait a minute. No, they can't have him also be in the sumo, right? He's so tiny. There's no way. We cannot see Gear 4th Luffy because I assume he's gonna go Gear 4th at some point. There's no way we can see like Luffy in any way defeat an old man. Like, that's not cool. Okay, we've got a Pillar Man. If you leave the sumo ring with us on. Okay. So it doesn't explode, but it does like okay, it's claws. Okay, so it's kind of like the slave collars, just not exploding. Right. You can give that up. They're not made to be removable. And crucially, they are sharp. Like that's the thing. In a absolute 100% pinch, I do think that Luffy could potentially let like a celestial dragon collar go off on his neck and he might be okay. He's probably not going to be okay, but I could see him like just armoring his neck and somehow managing to make it out of it alive. Whereas like with this, it cuts. It'll definitely cut right through him unless he's, like I guess hockey could also stop things from cutting into you, but I don't know. This just feels like more of a threat to me. Is manga is a spoiled. Joshua Lindsay, what are you talking about? Who is this? Let me know what you're talking about. Okay, they're a team of two. That's interesting. Like, I do like the idea of Luffy potentially having this handicap slash, like, we don't know what he can do. We know he was a big deal, like, mafia boss before, or, Yakuza boss. So, I do think there's more to him than we expected, especially since he has been, like, eating food for the first time in a long time. He might have some strength. So, I think this would be cool. Like, I hope it's, like, an asymmetrical match where Luffy has to pull both their weight for a little bit, and then near the end or near, like, the next match, he starts pulling his own weights. Okay, I'll remove your Sea Prism Stone Cuffs. Okay, so wait a minute. So, yeah, I worked so hard to get this key. Wait, does that mean this key would not freeze our Luffy? Okay, man, Raizo doubly, like, not screwed up. He did the correct thing, but he also screwed up. Like, if this had not happened, presumably that key would not have worked. I guess, like, well, what would one key fix everything? Like, would they have just a master key for all of the cuffs, or would they do like a different key for each set of cuffs? Like, they're in Wano. Wano is the place where they turn Sea Stone into things. So I imagine they would have the resources and the know-how to not have like one master key. Yeah, you pretty much just freed me from being captured. See, this is the Chad Luffy and the virgin character on One Piece who doesn't understand Luffy. This happens like, at least 5 times an arc. Something about Queen just makes me tickled. I love him. He's so amazing. Something about him is the best. If I knock you out, will you set us free? Okay, are we gonna go right into that? Like, are we just gonna have him fight Queen from the very start? So, I mean, I don't think Luffy's gonna have that big of a problem here. Like, he's been working out, he's strong, he has a lot of food from training, so he should be fine. Rest in peace, old man Yo in straw hats. Oh boy, okay, let's see Luffy clobber him. Wait, what? Right. Emperor Saki. Wait, we need him, Luffy Taro. Kappa, pa, pa, pa. Oh boy, we're getting a Kappa. You know, if you think about it, a Kappa is really like a reverse Devil Fruit user. Like, a Kappa is only powerful when they have water in, like, their head. So I can see some interesting lore come up, like, in regards to that. Like, Kappa are loved by the sea or something like that. But okay, I do hope he's also an actual Kappa, and, I mean, it'd be okay if, I guess, if it was a gag of just some guy who laughs at, like, Kappa pa pa pa, but he's not a Kappa. Though, I mean, I don't think Oda does that kind of thing usually. He's very straightforward. When someone laughs and that laugh has a clear meaning, it has a clear meaning. Oh, you mean like a fish man? Hmm. I mean, I guess fishmen really are just kappa that don't balance water on their heads, but just have water all around them. Oh, okay. Sorry. By the way, uh, Joshua Lindsay, if you're still there, you might not be. I noticed I lost two viewers just now. I am not spoiled. I am reading this completely blind. I'm I'd like to think I'm good at making predictions, but as the chat will tell you, I'm not. I just am confident, but I have a lot of real wild cards. The other Kappa. Wait a minute. Is that an emote on? Is Kappa an emote that works on YouTube? I don't, by the way. I did not know that there was one. I mean, I'm sure it's some weird side character I cannot recall, but I was kind of excited because I was like, yeah, hey, it's a mythological creature in One Piece that we haven't seen before. I really need to have a pop-up here. I keep on forgetting to do that. Sorry, let's quickly I really want to click this link. While that's loading, let's look at this page. Oh boy, we're going back to the bathhouse. Okay. I mean, like, there's actual danger here, but we know, not because we've seen him, but because of context, that Sanji is here to save everyone. He's just invisible right now, but he's fine. He's there. He will save everyone. I don't know who this is. I don't think I've ever seen this person in my life. Is this a character? Does this character exist? I mean, if it's a part we've already seen, then I imagine I can't be spoiled. Oh, from Baron Matsuri. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I probably could have guessed that from the art style if I'd paid a little more attention. Yeah, okay. Anyways, going back to the actual chapter. My job is to eliminate some idiot named Soba. Wait a minute. Yeah, why would. I mean, I know why Soba Mask would be here at the bathhouse. I know that. Why would they know that? Take cover behind my back. I mean, that is legitimately a great tactic. If you hide behind Shinobu, there's no way you'll be seen, especially if you're like Robin. Plus, it is a it's a mixed bathhouse, so it's not like they're invading just a women's bath. Okay, is Shinobu going to make a move? So, yeah, he reaches out a wood tentacle, whatever his ability is. Her bathrobe comes off. Boom! National treasure revealed. That's an incredible gag. Wait a minute, there's another happiness punch. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, that is a fantastic way to reveal that Sanji was here. God. I cannot believe that. That's amazing. I kind of wish actually that he had just like splurted the blood without like decloaking and the blood like fell on him. But this is fantastic. I love it. Oh my god. What's that outfit? Is this a joke? Nami. Like, everyone recognizes the Germa, like, outfits, right? Like, especially now, right? Okay, well, Sovamask is inside. They were looking for him. They, I guess, went in here without expecting to find him. They were just looking for resistance members, and they found him anyways. It's a weird way for that to go down, though. Wait a minute. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't expect that from Drake. I am happy, though. Like, I'm glad that he has goofs. Oh, wait a minute. You're from the North Blue, aren't you, Drake? That's German 66 stealth. German double 66 stealth black. Okay, is that why? Or was it genuinely because you saw the women? Because we do see like a girl over here in the background. So I assumed it was definitely, yeah, you've got the hearts. But Could it be a bait and switch? Could these hearts be because he saw Stealth Black and he was immediately like in love? I guess not, because like the fact that Stealth Black is there is being pointed out to him. So I guess not. I guess this was just him being heterosexual. Ah, that's right. He was leaving to go after Soap Mask and then they stopped him. Okay, got it. What? Ah, that's a weird cut too. Like this feels like something the anime would do. Like we go from him being stared down to just, I guess he picked up everyone and jumped away. That's not okay with that. I like the shot of Shinobu though. For a minute there, I was wondering if this was like supposed to be a blown up like panel of her face or something before I realized like no, that's just how her proportions are. That's just the way Shinobu is. But okay, so they do know about the ankle tattoos. That's dangerous. They're now searching to see if people have them. They still have like a week left before the meetup happens too, so it's not like this is a race against time. This is like 7 days. Wait, okay. The famed Shusuke has already been returned to where it belongs. Okay. Huh. So we have committed to Zoro just being lost wandering around Wano, which I do appreciate. Like, it is cool that we have a literal wandering swordsman in a way. Like, he is finally the wandering swordsman. But it is also interesting. Like, we had that whole thing where apparently one of his battle cries is a famous thing that they say in Wano that is like, a dirty thing to say or something. So it feels like we're doing the Zoro in Wano arc just without anyone else, just like in the background. As it happened, okay, so he's gonna beat up this guy, take all the weapons, go home. Oh man, is this a reference to that one guy? Who am I thinking of? Wait, Monk, Kamen Rider Ghost. What was his name? Oh, Benkei. Is this a reference? Because like I remember like the story of the monk who like stood by a bridge and beat the crap out of people and just collected all of their weapons, and he has like what looks like a white shawl. And I know that the Benkei reference in Kamen Rider has like it's white, so maybe. Thanks for thanks for giving me the answer, Saku. I could have just waited, but I had to go on a Google hunt. Yeah, definitely. I am really happy about that. Like I've been enjoying the number of casual references and even references to things where I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I know it's a reference. It's fun to see like all the Japanese stuff finally showing up in One Piece in one consolidated area. I do really hope that the like my theory before is correct, and all the other like references we saw before to Japanese myth throughout the world actually did all like stem from Wano. But either way, like it's satisfying. It's cool. It's very different. It's interesting to feel like because One Piece has always felt like a very international series. It is, it is manga. It is Japanese, but a lot of the individual things in it have felt very like this could apply anywhere. Like it is really just traveling around the world, and it is genuinely really interesting to just have a thing that is Wano, just pure Japan. Anyways, that was a weird ramble. Overall, pretty good chapter. Not my favorites. I'm glad we had Sanji finally exploding. I'm glad we got a new happiness punch. Um, but it was One Piece. Like as much as I was excited for the Sumo Inferno, we basically just set it up as a thing that will happen. Though I did genuinely just enjoy everything with Queen in this chapter. Like Queen continues to be one of my favorite characters in the arc. I will stick this bad boy. Do I want to put this below Act Dodge? I guess so. Like, it was really fun, but I feel like, realistically speaking, I think it was more fun than the We Never Learn chapter. It wasn't as interesting or as, like, impactful as the Act Dodge chapter. But I think that's fair. Oh, that's right. So, in addition to Donut's favorite One Punch Man page, there's something about One Piece, and then this isn't something he said, but like I mentioned the idea last night about reverse hockey. Like, what if instead of the color of armament, you had like a reverse color that just made you super weak? Or I guess like realistically, you could probably also apply it to other people or other things to make them super weak. So there's something in here that has like a connection to that vaguely, what would that be? What one of these would be that? Like, what is the general what here would just be making something weaker, I guess? Is it sexuality in Sanji? Because I mean, that's a long term. Like, women are Sanji's sea stone. They are his ocean. He is constantly drowning in them. One drop of having a female around will immediately drown him. That might legitimately be it, actually, because we also have X Drake, being weak to the sight of a woman's body. Is that it? Are women the reverse hockey? I guess sea stone's also kind of reverse hockey. Though I mean, in that case, you could just say the ocean is reverse hockey. Anyways, that's like I'm not really progressing anywhere. I'll revisit this idea a bit later. Let's move on to the Promised Neverland. This time on the Promised Neverland, I had the mildest spoiler from here, which is just demon lore in the Promised Neverland. So I imagine we're getting some demon lore. Approximately 700 years ago. Okay, who are these guys? Is this the clan that Mujika's from? Because her mask is interesting in that, unlike the others where they tend to be super freaky, hers is very clean. It's just, like 2 eyes directly like this. But I mean, I guess Luvis also had a mask sort of like that, in that, all the eye holes were vertical. And like these guys just kind of have one big eye that is protected not even by a mask, but by like a Naruto forehead protector. That is legitimately pretty terrifying, though. Like, imagine just knowing that if you don't get food for a while, you will go berserk. Like, imagine knowing about the neighboring city and they ran out of, like, Snickers. Yeah, actually, Snickers is a great idea. Because, Snickers satisfies. So imagine if the town next to you just ran out of Snickers, the candy stores ran out of them, you couldn't get them anymore, and then everyone there just reverted into being wild animals and they cannibalized each other until they lost all sense of sanity and just turned into monsters. That sounds terrifying. That is the wildest thing. And even this, like, this child is so small, they don't even have a protector for his face. Like, he's too tiny to invest in one. And then who shows up? Everything is okay. Everything is okay now. Okay, so confrontation. So I feel like this is where we're hitting the climax of this conversation. Like, we're gonna get the big thing of here is why Norman knows about, Mujika, why he knows about the clan, but why he can't allow that to be the solution. And then we're gonna get the big thing of Emma finally revealing that what I just want to save the demons, or I don't want to kill all the demons, and Norman just goes, well, too bad, we got to kill all the demons. This demon has never eaten a human and is an extremely special individual that can maintain the form and intelligence of humans without eating them. I mean, that's a pretty good rundown. Eat Snickers or you'll literally die is a pretty strong pitch. It is. Like, that's why this entire system with the farms, and I assume like the the king and the nobility all like are connected to the farms in some way. Like, you got to control the huddled masses. Like, it is a fantastic sales pitch. Okay, after the promise, but before the system of the farms was established. So also, like, just because she is the evil-blooded girl, it doesn't necessarily mean it is Mujika. It could just be like, she could be a descendant of this girl. Though I assume because of the way they're presenting it, it probably is really her. She was able to give her powers to others with just her blood, not even legs or arms. She didn't even have to offer a brain, not much was needed. Wait, so there should be a lot of them then. Like, why would she be... the last chapter did mention that they were slaughtered, that they should have all been killed. So, yeah, this is pretty amazing. She is Demon Jesus. They also obtained the ability to increase the same kind of demons with their own blood. Okay, so it's not even like Mujika is the one person who can do this. It's like, if you drink her blood, then your blood gains the same properties. So, I don't know why it is that she didn't, like, turn every single demon in existence into, like, a demon like her then. Like, it's so simple. And I imagine, like, especially if, since it doesn't kill you, I imagine, like, if I had that, if I got, the secret Snickers from some old man. Oh boy, never mind, that came out wrong. I don't want, oh boy. How do I phrase this in a way that doesn't sound bad? If Jesus literally like gave me a blessing and it was like, hey, you can pass this on to whoever you want for free, you don't lose anything, you can just do it. Like, I think I would legitimately like spend my entire life passing it on. Like, there's no downside to it. So why? Why did this not become a thing? Also, unlike like Promised Neverland generally doesn't have characters do this. Like, Emma is really just restating everything being said in a more coherent way. Like, especially this. This feels so weird. The fact that she had an explanation, the Norman says one extra thing, and then she immediately restates the entire thing plus that extra information the Norman gave her. That feels real weird. If their powers are real, we could do something about the citizens' famine. It may be even useful for. Yeah, that sounds incredible. Like, of course they would want to, like, mass produce them. And killed and ate everyone who had that blood. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. Huh. I mean, I can. Okay, now that I know they did that, I get it. Also, wait a minute. They all have the same masks as Mujika. Sorry, I was looking at the chat and I got the Muzika writing in there. I imagine you just like you would pronounce both of those the same way. I guess it just makes sense. Like they wouldn't want the poor people to have this special blood, right? I see. The records say she was killed in Eden 2, but she survived, still alive. So, like, the big money has been on Sonju being a cannibal, and I think he might still be a cannibal just for the sake of it. Like, he seems to enjoy the hunts. But it seems like what we're implying here is that he gained the ability to maintain his body composition through Mujika in exchange for being Mujika's protector. Which also makes sense considering that the two of them did not share the same goals. Like, Mujika seemed to be like completely fine with letting humans do whatever. She was very calm and peaceful, where Sonju explicitly, wants more children to roam wild so that they can eventually be huntable. And I think this actually makes sense. Like, even if Mujika doesn't agree with him, she still can't afford to, to lose that protection. Likewise, like Sonju is a very religious person. He is it seems like he would have that deep gratitude. He would protect her even if he doesn't agree with Mujika's like view in the world. Like, I don't think Sonju is correct in the slightest. It's just, in that moment, in the in the transition over to the secret base, it made sense to ally with him. I think at the time we even made jokes about how eventually, like in the future, we would have Grandma Emma waving her cane at Sonju as he runs around and like picks off children. Okay, Gila knows that, and for that reason too, he wants to kill the royal family. Which makes sense, like, of course. Like, the royal family has that blood, they can eat whatever, it doesn't matter, they don't have to worry about degenerating, it's just, it's just a fun thing. It's just something they do in order to enjoy nice, tasty meat. And yeah, actually, that would be super appealing because of Gilon's thing specifically. Like, not just being cast down by the aristocrats, but also, like, just having to survive on tiny little scraps of, humans. Just having to, like, and to share it with the rest of his family, too. Like, after all of that, imagine being given, the magic Snickers that makes you never hungry again. Of course, you'd do anything for that. And yeah, that does explain why it is the Norman specifically wants Gilon to go destroy the families. Like, part of it's to destroy the government, but part of it's also that the five royal families just would not starve. Like, they have to be killed no matter what. Bigger danger is. Then Emma speaks up. I really, really hope Emma just lays it out. Like, we've been dancing around it for a bit. I really want her to just come out 100% and say, Norman, I don't want to kill the demons. Like, if she's just dancing around it, she'll never get it fully, like, okay, never mind, that's not what she's saying right now. God, she's so innocent. She doesn't get it. If they use the blood properly, demons wouldn't have to worry about degenerating, and they won't even need to eat humans. Yeah. I mean, that's life. That is... It's meat capitalism. I guess it isn't capitalism, actually. Like, it is controlling the poor using assets, but it's not using, like, actual money. It's not using a system of... I guess it's using a system of goods. Like, it's not using services, it's not really using, like, fiat currency, but it is using a currency, that currency being the magic Snickers that keeps you sane. Furthermore, maybe they created the promise for their own gain to begin with. Yeah, I can honestly see that too. Like, as we've mentioned multiple times, the promise has to be mutually beneficial. Like, that's why also we don't know what the humans got out of the promise, apart from not being attacked. Like, everyone got not being attacked. The demons got the farms. The humans got something else that we don't know about. So naturally, I could definitely see the high-ranking demons deciding, all right, well, we ate enough humans to maintain our sanity. Now that we have this sanity, let's use this to work out a compromise so we can have humans forever to eat. Instead of, having to fight and having to fight other demons as well for them. It makes sense. I would honestly really like to see a a Doctor Stone of the Promised Neverland. Like the Society of the Demons. Like, how did they start off? Who was the first demon to like gain sapience? How did they build up a society? Because their society seems to be like very inspired by like Victorian architecture, which I imagine they must have taken from humans, maybe. Like, there's a lot there. I would love to see the Demon Senku figure out like demon capitalism. That's the real black pill there. This is how the world works. Not everyone thinks in a kind, selfless way like you. Especially coming from Norman, because I assume Emma is going to finally reveal, like, hey, I don't want to kill the demons. And Norman's going to just throw that back in your face, like, hey, I also don't think the way you do. Like, it's not workable. You can't do this. It doesn't make sense. And Emma's going to have a tough time, arguing against it. Partially because, like, everything's stacked against her, and partially also just because, like, it's difficult. It's difficult to argue from a sense of like idealism when the world you're in is not ideal. This chapter is basically demons live in a society. It really is. But yeah, I'm actually really curious to see what worker demons are like. Like we've seen like, the kids in the village in the cities and whatnots. We saw that one market where I assume demons were selling, bits of meats. Like we saw them selling bits of meats. But I would like to see like just a chapter about regular normal demon life. Like we kind of got at the very start. Except even that was like, that was like the Somalia of demons for a little bit. I want to see like, the Canada of demons, the America of demons. Like how does the average working class demon survive? I mean, that is dangerous just in the sense of even if you're not worried about Mujika herself doing something, what if she like trips and hits her head on the ground and dies, and then some other demons like, just what if a wild demon shows up and eats her body? That demon then becomes like, becomes humanoid and has the ability to spread that humanoid power constantly. Like even if Mujika herself doesn't do anything, all it takes is one other demon to get that power and it's nuts, it's bonkers. Norman's plan falls apart in a completely different way than it did before. Okay, and now Emma's finally laying it down on the line. Yeah, they're demons too. Do you think they'll just sit and watch as we annihilate the demons? Do you think they'll forgive that? Then we shouldn't annihilate them. Oh boy, we're doing it. Also, this face on Emma is... Oh man. Like, anytime someone has shading around the eyes in the Promised Neverland, it's intense. Because I'm so used to the like, the squishy, tasty, like dough-like faces of the characters. That whenever someone gets, and we don't really get to see them blush in a cutesy way. Like we rarely ever get the harem series blush. We usually get the I'm going to die blush. The scared blush. It's always extremely intense. He does, like especially this shot here, where like his face is almost stretched out a bit. It looks a lot like what was going on with Sislo. Ah, there we are. That's it. That's the panel I've been waiting for. Yeah, even if we don't look for Mujika, we can use the king or aristocrat's blood. Like, theoretically, you could have some sort of demon revolution where you kill all of the aristocracy, and then, you divide that blood up amongst the, the lower classes, then you get them to agree to another promise, I guess. That's the thing, like, it really comes down to agreeing to another promise. But we know so very little about what that entails. Like, that is, I believe, the end game. I am certain the series is going to end with Emma making a promise, but, like, what happens before then? It's completely possible that that Norman will plunge the world into war before then. Right. Even if there's no need, if they want to eat us, they'll come for it. Ah, okay. And we're even going into this. Humans are no different either. If your favorite food tells me, don't eat me, can you say okay and refrain from eating it? Maybe you'd be able to, but can you force your siblings to do the same? Do you think all of the demons would feel empathy towards us and suppress their appetites? This is the extreme, like, if what he said before was the black pill, this is the, like, necro pill. this is the advanced darkness pill. And I can't disagree with him too. Like that is an incredibly good like argument. We can completely cut out meat in our diets. Like I personally would probably be fine with it, but when it comes to like explaining to other people why, like I wouldn't. I would feel too awkward. And I myself don't even like I'm not even that strong in my commitments to not eat meat. Like if I go meatless eventually, I would still like eat a taco if offered. That's just how I am. Especially like for a Japanese audience, where like groupthink is more of a societal thing, especially. I feel like this is a fantastic argument, or like just a fantastic way of getting people to understand what Norman's thought process is. Let's find the seven walls, create a new promise, make it so the demons won't pursue us, then escape to the human world. She's really dropping like all the deets there too. I don't think she's mentioned to anyone here, like anyone who is not part of, her party, about the seven walls. So this is her finally laying it on the line. Like, yes, this was my plan. Why don't we do this? Yeah, and that's the big one. Even though we don't know that the human world is safe and that they'll accept us, that's the thing. Like, one of the big problems with the renegotiation process has always been what will happen. Like, can we renegotiate the promise? Is that something the humans would be okay with? Or would they just say no? Like, take back these kids. We want the promise to be the way it is. Like, we like whatever it is that we got from it. I can say this for sure. If we don't annihilate the demons, there's no future where our family can live in happiness. Oh boy. Well, I'm going to put that at the very top, but oh man. Like, that was heavy. The Promised Neverland is a series that has, like, it is a roller coaster of emotion. It was definitely the best thing I've read, like, in this entire session, but it was not something that made me happy, not in the slightest. That was deeply, deeply heavy. My heart hurts. I think I said enough about this in the reaction itself, so I'm not gonna go on. It was a good chapter. Really liked it, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, does my heart hurt. Let's move right along. So on the cover, we have Yurisui. We have a very like Conan pose, like a very like Frank Frazetta Conan pose, I'd say. You've got the lightning, you've got the sword in the sky, you've got the girl. He's also wearing the outfit we've seen multiple times with him. I don't know if this is going to be a real. It is also very He-Man, actually. I don't know if this is going to be his actual design later on, or if this is just, his fantasy design. Because he has these giant shoulder pads, and I don't know what those are for. Like, we know he's going to be the captain, but why would you need the shoulder pads? It does give off the, that awesome knight barbarian vibe, though, which I really love. I wonder if this is going to be the chapter where Ryusui, like, shows his true colors, maybe? Like, I don't think he's going to be the main villain of the series or anything, but I I'm on the threshold. I'm curious. I don't know what'll happen. I think it is very possible they're planting the seeds eventually for Nanami Corps to like become a antagonistic force in the future. But they don't have to. The Kingdom of Science has its resource network. Yeah, with freight this heavy, our lack of roads just makes it worse. Oh boy, that's gonna destroy the shocks on that thing. Oh, what's this? Hey, asphalts, they're making a road. Paved roads. That is true, actually. Like, I imagine when we get like above view shots now, even with just one road, that automatically just makes it look more like civilized. Like anything that is black that is not a that isn't a like seaside area, that isn't like, sand. It does look more civilized just by having tarmac on the grounds. Okay. So it's mostly gravel, and then I guess oil byproducts, which makes sense. Since it flows out all goopy like mud, I'm sure it'd be mostly made of oil. Thank you, Taiju. Please leave. Please stop and trying to contribute with the science. I don't know. Like, I feel like Boichi is completely fine with sexualizing guys as well. And, like, we're not seeing anything here. Like, we're not seeing anything weird. If that makes any sense, like there's no excess tissue here that I would assume would be like, the under boob area. So she does, or like Francois does feel very androgynous here. I could really see it going either way. If I had to classify this doing the One Punch Man thing, I would say that this is fan servicey, for what that's worth. Yeah, so it's just waste byproduct plus gravel. I love this. Anytime Dr. Stone does something involving byproducts, like anytime it's like, oh, well, we didn't have to go out of our way to do this. It's just a byproduct of something we already did. I love that. That is the coolest thing. This really is the most Dr. Stone thing we've seen in a little bit because it is a perfect combination of being sciencey, of being something that is only possible now because of all the progress they've made as part of, the series. But it also just involves a lot of raw labor. Like, that really is the best part of the series. I hope that if we do get, like I think we can only do, like, fully automated stuff once we hit, like, the epilogue of Doctor Stone. Like, once the world has returned back to the way it was pre-stoning, I think then we can show some automated stuff. But until then, I really do want the vast majority of things to involve some sort of physical labor. Or, like, the boat they're on, obviously, it's going to use sail power. Like, that's fine. I think that's okay. But, like, if you can do something with your hands, I want to see the characters do stuff with their hands. Like, even with that giant boat, I imagine there's going to be a point where, like, where the waters are being treacherous and they have to pull out the giant oars and help course correct or something. Oh yeah, when was the last time you rode a boat, Ginro? Why are you the one bragging about this? But yeah, that is super cool. Like, before we didn't fully hammer out what the distribution was like. We just saw like the little mini map. I'm really glad this chapter is genuinely like focusing on that. They're actually saying, yes, this is how it will work specifically. Also, can I just make my bookmarks bar disappear? Oh no, it made it smaller. I've never tried that before, but I think yeah, it shows a little more of this of the page now. Yeah, that works a lot better actually. I like that. Oh, okay. I've built plenty of small vessel in my day, so I thought this big old ship wouldn't give me trouble. What's he what's happening? What's the problem here? Also, as usual, I do appreciate the attention to detail here. That like we do get this one little panel of them sailing over. Like, yes, we do understand that not everyone is in the same place. I think that's cool. Parts won't reach, they won't align, they're sticking out, and now the whole hull's starting to warp. Yeah, I know nothing about making boats, but I know it's difficult. I know that, that's why being a shipwright is a big deal. So I imagine Risui's got to be able to help, right? Yeah, where would you find a shipwright in what used to be modern Japan? You'd have to get someone working on, like, the Pirates movies to get that done. Okay, and we do see here that Senku does believe that the Y-Man is, like, this pressure being put upon him. I do really like the theory that the Y-Man isn't real, that it's all just Gen's plans. I think that's a cool idea. And this is a good way of showing that, yes, like, it is pushing Senku. Like, he's going to have to come up with new ideas or he's going to have to, like, make compromises because he's under the gun. Okay, it'll have to be a smaller sailboat with a limited crew. Nope, nope, nope. This is where we see it. This is where we see Risui's, like, powerful greed, where he's going to turn everything around. Ryusui's dad looks kind of like someone related to Senku, like he's got the white hair or like the blondish hair and then the black hair, like that combination. Though that's kind of just a thing that happens in the world of Doctor Stone, it seems. I'm afraid your allowance this month is a mere 1,000,000 yen. You're not allowed to do whatever it is he was trying to do before. That does make sense. That's pretty nuts for an elementary schooler. But I feel like they'd probably be mad about that though. Like, this is the kind of thing where, like, a celebrity uses, or like a celebrity's kid uses that celebrity name to do something and then it tarnishes the name. Though I guess Ryusui's like, he's good enough that he's never really tarnished the name. So he got some suits, he did some weightlifting, he won the Dodgeball Grand Prix. Oh boy, is he gonna invent VR? Or like, he's probably gonna buy this entire place then. Nope, never mind. No VR, he just built an arena. Oh, that's so cool. It doesn't really connect to anything, but I do like that. Like, that indication that, yes, this was all happening around the same time. Like, if you were wondering what Senku was doing while Risui was making his own racing track, now you know. Yeah, what do you think of Risui, Francois? I feel like, yeah, she's definitely going to absolutely knock it out of the park. Just know you guys are all idiots. Risui is the greatest person on the planet. Desire is noble. When it comes to deep desire, it is all too simple to convince oneself that a want is hardly a need. It's far easier to give up before getting hurt. As much as I dislike the indication that capitalism is super ultra dope, I do really like what they've been doing with Risui. Like the way they've been showing his desire to be utterly noble. Like, regardless of whether he's good or evil or whatever, like his drive is inherently really cool, just by the virtue of being what it is. Okay, so that's where we're tying into. Like, he knows how to make one a small one, so he has it like maybe he has it like memorized. He knows how to do it. He remembers all the struggles he had with the model version, so he'll be able to scale it up to the real thing, perhaps. Someone I can trust, someone worthy of teaming up with me. I'll make a model of our vessel. Ah, that's also insane to think of, though. Like, I assume this model he made was like made using a kit. Like, it's something you buy and you put it together, and that's still very difficult. Like, I have great praise for people who make kits, like any type of model kit, really, except for Gunpla. So I do think this is pretty amazing. Like, the idea that he's going to make one from scratch, and it's going to be fine enough that Kaseki can reference it for like the real thing. Like, that is bonkers. Yeah, no need for payments. If things are serious, he doesn't want to make money. He just wants to do it for the sake of doing it. His desire has no limits. It feels like those two can accomplish anything. Never give up, not on anything, because desire is noble. That was incredibly hype. I am absolutely super into this. This was a fantastic chapter. Ah, it's exactly what I needed after the Promised Neverlands. Like, do I even want to put it above Black Clover? I definitely think it was explosively good. I guess I'll put it above Hell Warden, but below One Punch Man. Like, realistically speaking, the One Punch Man chapter was incredibly good. It's like, I'd say that's like the start of the absolute top tier. And then this Dr. Stone chapter was just, it was good. It was a good Dr. Stone chapter. And then everything else below it is good, but it's, it's more of an average good. One Punch Man, Black Clover, and Promised Neverland were all like fantastic this week. Oh boy, okay. Well, we have just one more thing left. My Hero Academia, chapter 220. Oh my god, that is cool. See, that is not what I would have expected from a Jump series, from a manga. That is that's a Marvel Comics edgy opening. To have Shigaraki literally shatter the like this too, like not even just having a shattered logo, but showing the logo twice. That feels very Marvel. Also, does this have a chapter title? I assume it's next page, actually. Number 220, My Villain Academia. I can't believe we spent this long not doing that, actually. Honestly, like, if I were Horikoshi, I would have been weak. I would have made this the chapter of the UA invasion. Because I am not nearly that ambitious. I would not have waited this long, but I'm glad he did. I hope this is a chapter that deserves that. Let's take a quick look at our current living situation. Some people hate chocolates, others love cockroaches. Oh boy, who is this? Like, it clearly, there's so much personality here. It has to be a member of the League of Villains. It's too cool sounding to be Shigaraki. I doubt it's twice. It could be twice because we had a twice narrated chapter before. But who else could it be? The point is, there are all types of people in this world with all kinds of views. These charmers happen to be the Creature Rejection Clan, always known. Okay, basically, the modern day fossils. Oh, okay, this is Spinner. Like, because he's facing this discrimination from these like pro-human, or not even pro-human, just like anti-creature, anti-furry, which I can understand. Like, this would definitely be a thing that would exist in this world. My Hero has always had this very casual acceptance of people with non-human designs, or just like clear animal traits, or not even animal traits, but just like just weird bodies, which I've always loved. Like, I'm happy that's the way society is on the surface at the very least. Like, it feels like going to Toronto, for instance, where like it's not that racism doesn't exist. It certainly does, but you can generally walk around as any ethnicity in Toronto and you're not in danger. Like, unless you go somewhere scary, obviously, but like just normally it's just like this beacon of anything goes. And that's what a lot of the world of My Hero, or at least the world of My Hero Japan, has been like. whereas in any given shot, you'll see all sorts of crazy characters, all sorts of weird, like, heteromorphic quirks. So I actually really like that the series is pointing out that, yeah, like, that's not actually just the natural state of things. Like, there are racist people out there. Hmm. Sure, everyone tosses around casually, but it's nicer to avoid when you're being polite. I wonder what the, like, in-universe cool word for these kinds of people are then. Because, like, without any doubt, I don't think I've ever mentioned what my quirk would be. It would definitely just be I don't even wouldn't like, I wouldn't even want to have the abilities of a cat. I would just want to look like a cat person. That's all I want. That's all I want in existence. We seek things of value. Are these worth anything? Like, obviously, he's just doing it to trigger them, but still. Get out of here, you sins against nature. Oh, man. Also, these designs look really cool. Like, they've got a very, like, it's a mix of, like, religious with also being, like, obviously, the skulls are, they're both scary, and they also symbolize, like, an ideal human body. Like, this is what the ideal human skull looks like. If your skull doesn't look like this, you're a freak. And, yeah, you also do have the fossil thing. Like, it's a perfect combination. These are some top-tier designs. Plus the fact that there's just so many of them too. Like, they look like they could be, like, Shocker Troopers. They could be some sort of mook in a Kamen Rider series. Honestly, these look more like the kinds of mooks that you would have in, like, Kamen Rider Kiva than what was actually in Kamen Rider Kiva. Oh my god. That was legitimately so cool. Like, we rarely ever get to see Twice's, like, tape in action. We've got Toga just being Toga. It looks like she is absorbing some blood on this side, but not this side, weirdly enough. Oh my god, everyone is amazing. God, the idea of compressing just a part of someone's body is terrifying. My name's Spinner, I'm a member of the League, and today is just another day in my life of crime. I do genuinely like Spinner. Like, I like him ironically, and I also do like him unironically. Like, the more I've thought about him, the more I enjoy him as being this, like, try-hard guy. This guy who's inspired by Stain, and he's not afraid to show it. Like, he doesn't really have an identity of his own. He's just a lizard guy wearing a Stain, like, costume. Not much money in religion nowadays, huh? Is this actually supposed to be a religion? Like, the way they explained it before, it felt like it was going to be I guess they're kind of like the KKK, which, like, the KKK is vaguely religious. Like, I wouldn't call them a religion. Ooh, okay. Like, at first when I saw that, I was just thinking, like, okay, so I guess she fought hard. But with this line too. So we're gonna tie this into the I know it's a word backwards, but I was gonna say, is it individuality backwards? It's definitely not individuality. But the group that Destro's son is currently in charge of. Like, I assume they're going to get some rad gear from maybe, like, I assume Giron's probably going to be dead or, like, severely tortured, but they'll probably step in and say, like, hey, we're selling some villain supplies. Get this stuff. It's cheaper than Giron's and it's better too. I do like this, though. Like, the fact that they're living in just, they're squatting in an abandoned area, this, like, former construction site. It has a comfy vibe to it. Detronauts, that was right. They do hate the League of Villains, but keep in mind, all the Detronaut stuff is also designed so it can self-destruct. So I could see Detronaut, like, taking money from the League of Villains, giving them weapons, using those as, like, trackers or something to figure out more about them, maybe to even learn more about All for One. And then when they finally turn on them, they'd, destroy all of their gear. Like, I could totally see that happening. Also, it is kind of worrying that most of my viewers dropped off before My Hero. Like, is My Hero really that unpopular now? I thought that was just a donut thing. Like, I didn't think most people were, like, sick of My Hero. It might just be that this stream is taking a long time, though. Also, to be fair, this was a week ago. I guess Dobby's... Maybe he came back from the whole Endeavor thing. Who knows? Dobby is a bad recruiter. Like, you really don't want Dobby bringing people in. Even though Dobby and Toga were both brought in by someone who is, a recruiter, I imagine Dobby wouldn't have let himself in. He would have been like, now who's this scrub? Just annihilate him. Though I feel like if Dobby found another Dobby, he would just be like, oh, brother, what are you doing here? That is pretty rough, too. Like, I imagine Kurogiri was the ultimate cheat code. I mean, the ultimate cheat code was All for One, obviously. But Kurogiri would, he would have given them ways to move around, easy access to, stealing money, easy ways to just, do anything really. Like, teleportation is broken. Oh, There's a power he left behind. Give me the order, and I will retrieve this power for you. And he just straight up failed. So I assume this is how we're going to get to the Gigantomachia fights. Kurogiri most likely tried to get Gigantomachia. He didn't succeed. Like, as we saw before, Kurogiri was captured. And then I imagine he, at the very least, like, told Gigantomachia enough for him to seek out Shigaraki himself. The doctor either. Ooh, the mysterious doctor. The doctor who may or may not have stolen Deku's quirk, if you believe in that theory. The doctor who may or may not be the same doctor as the one in Full Metal Alchemists, if you believe that theory. There are so many theories with this doctor with one gold tooth. He was Master's personal doctor, real cautious guy, yeah. Oh, he's the one who developed and managed the Nomu. Okay. I really like that idea. Like, the fact that the doctor was the one who did it. Like, obviously, All For One was the one who provided the quirks. But the doctor was the one who created he was the one who came up with the Nomu procedures. As we know from Vigilantes, the Nomu do, in fact, like, we haven't gotten Nomu in Vigilantes yet, but we're heading there. We're slowly but steadily heading there. So I think that's, like, also, I do appreciate that, like, Vigilantes tries to line things up with the anime or with the manga as certain things happen without, without the others, without it ever being relied upon. Like, you don't need to read Vigilantes. So I feel like they're definitely hinting at something involving the Doctor. That, like, that's where we're going to see, like, combinations of quirks and, like, general meta quirk stuff in general, like quirks that control quirks and whatnots. I feel like there's something there that we're just dipping our toes into. Okay, so everyone else having the normal conversation, and then it's Spinner of all people who cuts to the chase. Like, hey, where are we going with all this? Which is interesting because, like, we haven't seen Spinner's quirk yet. Like, we've seen how he's physically different, and we don't know if that is his quirk or if that's just the way he looks. Like Tokiyami. But he seems to be, like, the lowest rated member of the League of Villains. And it's interesting that he's the one who seems to have some doubts now. Like, what's the plan? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we here? Why are we slumming it? Like, now that we don't have so many of our trump cards, like, why are we doing this? Okay, straight up backstory, I guess. I was born in a real backwater place stuck in the last century. Around there, I was known as the Lizard Freak. Oof. Yeah, I imagine that, like, in a small town. I've read so many stories and, like, just heard so many testimonials about people who are from small towns, like people who are mercilessly brutalized for, like, being a certain race or a certain gender or a certain, like, ethnicity. And then, going back later on, like going back now and saying, like, oh, hey, there's a gay bar here, or, it's cool to be black here. Like, a lot can change in a relatively short amount of time. And even if, even then, there's some places that'll never change. So I can definitely see how, even if the world in general is relatively nice, like, yeah, I could see how Spinner could come from a place where he was treated like absolute garbage. It is also, like, this could be the place where he dies, honestly, because the League of Villains has never really been about Stain. That was just kind of a thing that they mentioned once, or they didn't even mention it. It was just Stain's existence was tied to the League of Villains because of the Nomu fights. Realistically speaking, there's nothing that should tie Spinner to the League of Villains, apart from just, being friends with some of them at this point. But even then, he doesn't seem to be that friendly with anyone. So, who knows? He might leave. He might die. I don't know. What you're saying is you're basically just an empty cosplayer. That's right, totally hollow. I like that he's owning that, though. Like, he is hollow. That's the point, though. Like, he's not flashy, but he has a reason, and it doesn't seem like they're satisfying that reason. Oh, I definitely think that Shigaraki is some kind of thing, like heritage or another quirk, or maybe another use for his quirk. I do think so too. Like, in addition to the crumbling, I feel like either he has, like, it either has an incredible amount of potential that we just haven't seen, which is possible. Like, quirks are growing things. It's possible that Shigaraki just needs to get better and better at it until he can do something like, decomposing atoms or something. I don't know. My pet theory has been that he has All For One. Like, at some point, All For One himself gave up his quirk, because that's the thing. In Tartarus, you can't test someone to see if they still have their quirk. Like, you can't. The moment anyone uses their quirk, they immediately get gunned down. Which means also, like, of course, like, he can't, no one would expect him to use it. And plus, he probably could have, like, he could be like a Nomu now. Like, he could still have kept a bunch of diverse quirks. He just doesn't have All For One specifically. because I feel like that'd be the best way to make him, like, to make Shigaraki his successor, to give him just that power. It would also be a neat way of reversing what happened with Deku, where like Deku just learned that he has One for All. He has like all of the previous users of One for All's quirks, like all combined. Whereas with Shigaraki, like he got All for One, but it's empty. Like there's nothing in it. It's the quirk that can steal and control other people's quirks, but the version he has right now has nothing in it. I think that would be a cool like parallel. Anyways, Gigantomachia is here. I would not consider this to be fan service. I don't think it's attractive. He's kind of got the Gamagori thing going on with the weird proportions, but it's not working for me. This is a cool shot. Like, I really like Shigaraki with his hair down. It looks neat. Like, slowly peeling the mask onto his face, or, the hand onto it with, like, one finger. I don't know how you would do that. I assume that's what he's doing. I assume he's, like, slowly slapping it on. So, the radio is going ga, ki, most likely Shigaraki. Prove that you are worthy. Yeah, this is the coolest. Like, this is essentially the same thing that Deku's going through, just, well, not the same thing, but it's a parallel to it. Like, just as Deku is learning so much more about his quirk, for whatever reason, One for All, or All for One, had this set up to test Shigaraki. I am very into this. Yeah, exactly, the pills are here. I think that's such a cool idea. Why? Tell me why. Oh Lord, why? Why is he so weak? Oh no. This is not what I expected. This is 100% not the reaction I expected. But yeah, also Zaku, I haven't been responding to that specifically, but yes, the villains are amazing. Like, the villains are the best part of my hero. And I've talked about this a lot, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But it really is just because the school setting is not very well utilized. Whereas the villains, they feel like villains from any other comic. Like, my hero feels like he kind of wants to be a Marvel comic, but the school setting is restrictive in a way that, like, the Xavier Institute from X-Men is not restrictive, where, like, that is a school setting that allows school tropes to happen, while at the same time, it allows the kids to be genuine heroes and to go out and to get rivals and stuff. Whereas with the League of Villains, like, they get to be just a evil group. They get to be like any of the groups that fight the X-Men, really. But, because of that, they get to just interact with the world at large. They have to have diverse opinions. They can have a wide variety of the people there. It is just like, oh, it's so good. Ooh, you seem to be at a loss, Tomura Shigaraki. So that is the Doctor. For some reason, the Doctor is speaking to Gigantomachia specifically. We thought our tale was at a dead end, but now it's picking up steam again. This is great. Like, I do love how this starts off with them, just stealing from other groups just to survive. They live in a slum. Like, this is the lowest point we have seen for the League of Villains thus far. Like, the League of Villains was pretty well off at the start. They were very preppy, almost. And now, like, I feel like this is the lowest point. Like, after this is going to be where Shigaraki turns things around, and then from then on, it's never going to be this bad for them. I mean, it might be bad in terms of, like, like, they're on the ropes, but I don't think they'll ever be, like, they won't be living in this level of squalor. Yeah, I would love to have a pure villain arc. Or even, like, I wouldn't want a full pro hero arc. We've had we've had some focus on pro heroes. I'm not that into them. I'm okay with them, but I would like, because of the way the series is, if we're focusing on heroes, I'd like to focus on the cast, like the main cast. But with the villains, like, I would love it. I would love it if this is all just Detonauts / the League of Villains. Like, not even them combining or not even them like interacting. If we just saw a little of Detonauts and then a little of the League of Villains, like back and forth, I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, the Hawks arc was pretty good. And Fatgum, I mean, I like Fatgum. That's the thing. Like, I like a lot of the villain or the pro heroes. It's just I don't care that much for seeing them do stuff. Like, even when they attacked, when we got the whole pro hero operation to destroy the League of Villains, like, I thought that was cool, but it wasn't like the most exciting thing. I wasn't that super into it because we don't get to see them that often. Detonarats. Okay, got it. Thanks. I do hate it when someone has a word on screen and they just refuse to pronounce it the right way. I'll try it a few more times to make sure my tongue remembers it. But yeah, like because it is My Hero Academia, I do want to stick with the kids, but I'd honestly like it if the villains caused some sort of like collapse of society or temporary collapse of society. Something that forces the kids to go out there and like now they all have their licenses at this point. Like they have their provisional licenses. I could see something being set up where now the kids get to have, rivals and stuff and, in the workforce where if they have a school but they also go out and do things. Like I know this sounds super like West Tabooey, but I really do just want them to be more like old school X-Men because that to me is like that's the ultimate kids that are heroes storyline. Like, even more so than ones where it's some kids who gain magic powers. Like, I love the idea of it being a series with a school where the kids are still learning, where you get to do school stuff and you get to do hero stuff together. It's just, I do genuinely think most runs of X-Men do it better than My Hero. And I think My Hero has the potential to do it really, really well. They just need to commit to it, really. 10-year time skip. Okay, well, this was a good chapter of My Hero. Not my favorite, but it was definitely an upswing. Like, I was into it. I guess I will put it. I think I did genuinely. I liked We Never Learn More. I enjoyed it more. There was more like raw enjoyment, but this was more like meaty enjoyments. It's the difference between like eating a chocolate and eating a slice of pizza. Like neither of them are amazing, but the pizza is definitely more filling. Actually, you know what? I'd put it above One Piece too. I might put it above Actage. Yeah, because the Actage chapter was good, but it wasn't like explosively good. Was it better than the Last Saiyuki? You know what? I'll say yes. I don't think it was better than Hell Warden, which, to be fair, I'm going to have to make a note about this. I deeply misunderstood who the villain in Hell Warden Higuma was, so that might change the way I view the chapter. Alright, well, all we have now is author comments. I finally realized that I can just go to author comments, without, doing the whole thing of clicking through the links. I can just load it up at the very start. Like, this is never going to spoil me. The thing I see here is not spoilery at all, so it's fine. Yeah, I do agree. Like, I thought the overhaul arc was okay. It had its flaws, but I'm not going to nitpick it that much. I did think that the way that they combined the kids working with the pro hero activity with the villains, I thought that was a good arc. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Like, I'd like to have more stuff like that. Like in general, I want a better balance of hero and academia. I don't have to have very much Mai in it, but I need like 50% hero, 50% academia. Whereas I feel like the academia overpowers the series a lot, and when the hero comes in, the hero is not connected to the academia because we do have like the pro heroes, and we do have like the adults doing stuff, which is okay. But like again, that's why so many series involving kids are like like that's why with the X-Men, they sometimes just split it off into like, here are the old X-Men, the ones you grew up with, and then here's the X-Men book that's all about just like the new recruits. Because if you don't balance it out correctly, you end up with, all the heroes that are already established doing all the work like they do in My Hero, which means that it's harder to get invested in what the kids are doing. I think Gentle was honestly, yeah, Gentle was one of my favorite arcs in quite a while. Like maybe since the All Might All for One fights. And that seems like a very high bar to hit, but I mean like in terms of just the way it was set up and the fact that Gentle was like a villain that Deku could fight one-on-one and that the world wasn't at stake and that it didn't tie into the grandiose overall plots. Plus, it was actually a good balance of hero and academia. Like it was a school thing that was all about, a normal school activity, and then it was being threatened by a villain, and our main character had to fight that villain. Like it was extremely X-Men-y. Anyways, enough of my wanking about X-Men. Let's read these author comments. Yeah, I'm glad that Black Clover made it to 4 years. Black Clover is an interesting series in that I I feel like a lot of series that have been canceled could be as good as Black Clover if they'd run for as long as Black Clover. Like I don't think Black Clover is I think it's great now, but I feel like the early part of it was rough, and I don't really see why it survived. Like, I understand why it's good. I like it. I do genuinely like it. I don't want to sound like I'm degrading it. But like it is it's a weird series. I'm totally out of shape and I went for my health check. Guess what? They told me I was out of shape. Top 10 anime twists. Every week I draw while playing movies that look like they might help me with my work. This week is Frankenstein's Army. Next week too. Next week too? You know, I don't think I've ever seen this. Like, is this like a classic movie? No, 2013. It's got 2.5 stars. But to be fair, I don't care that much about star ratings. It seems like it could be fun. Ooh, it's scary when you hear something fall over in your room, but you can't figure out what it was. That is extremely worrying. Just anytime a noise is made and I don't know what that noise could possibly have been made by, it worries me. Like, even if someone else is just in the house and I hear a noise and I don't know where it came from, I'm less on edge because I know, like, okay, someone else is here. Maybe they did something that led to that noise, whatever. And when it's completely inexplicable, that's when it's worrying. I got cocky and ate something spicy that destroyed my stomach. I'll never do that again. How many times have I said this? I can relate. I'm pretty good when it comes to spicy foods, but recently I learned that, like, I've got this, like, rash that apparently might be caused by the fact that I eat spicy food. And that's a tough pill to swallow. Because I don't want to stop eating spicy food, but I also want to get rid of this rash. The timing is odd, but my editor just changed. He had been with me since the Kyosei fight in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Really? Wow. I mean, I don't know what the Kyosei fight was. I don't think I read enough of Nura to know what it is, but, like, that feels crazy. Especially since, like, Nura ended a little while ago, and then I guess, did he do anything else in between? It feels kind of crazy that, like, he would have that same editor for the very first chapter of his new series, and then his editor would be changed. It's real weird. Yeah, I do agree, actually. I think season 4, I don't know. It might be a packed season. I guess if it's like a long season, it might work. It's just like, when I think of the Hasakai arc, I think of it being super duper ultra long, but I guess you could pack it in. Like, I wouldn't want the Gentle arc to be crammed in. I wouldn't want it to feel like an anticlimax. And it is clearly like a relaxed arc. Like, it's not, I mean, it's more relaxed than everything else. I guess the problem is that, like, either you put it in season 4 at the very end, as, you know, just sort of like, this is the epilogue, slash, you know, this is the thing that shows how much better Deku has gotten, or you put it at the start of season 5. But then that makes season 5 more of an anthology season, sort of. Because, like, ever since then, we've had, like, you know, stuff with the kids getting their, you know, their degrees and whatnot. Like, there hasn't been a very strong focus on any one thing. It's been a lot of smaller arcs. So I don't know if they would want to do that. I guess they might. I also feel like Gentle would be a good way to start off an arc in general. And you could do, like, marketing early on with, like, you know, fake YouTube videos and stuff. Like, I think that'd be super cool. Plus, you know, like, the big traditional end to a season would be, you know, Deku versus overall. The final episode of the anime is coming up soon. I'm putting all my energy into the art for the DVD and Blu-ray box sets. Collect all 3. Oh man. I mean, I haven't really been following the merchandising around the anime. But I imagine it has to be pretty spectacular. Like, Posca is almost inexhaustible when it comes to arts. I imagine now she's probably, like, I know she's doing her personal art in addition to everything else. I imagine she must have slowed down her other work a lot just to do, like, Promised Neverland anime stuff. Because, like, the series is really being carried on her. Like, her art is insane. And I imagine she probably puts in a bunch of work when it comes to, like, you know, figurines and stuff. I ate the grandmother curry at Kokoichi and want a spoon. What? I bought a suit for the first time in my life. It cost 19,000 yen. I'll wear the suit until I die. Man, every time I hear about Boichi, I think he's adorable. It's not like this is a cheap suit at all. Like, yeah, $190, that's quite a lot. But when I think of someone blowing a lot of money on a suit, especially, like, you know, someone like Boichi, like someone famous, I usually think of, you know, something in the thousands. But then again, like, Boichi's had a rough life. So I'm happy that he owns a suit at all. I imagine it might even be the fact that, like, he has enough money for a better suit, but he couldn't justify it to himself. It's so weird. Like, Boichi's so popular, but I really do like him so much. Like, he feels like a perpetual underdog to me. Also, yes, I do actually think that the babysitter arc would be a great way to start a season. Especially because, yeah, it would have to be an anthology. Not really, like, it's not an anthology, but, like, you know, It's a collection of smaller arcs. I think that would be a fun way to do it. It also introduces the idea of, stuff with quirks in general, like, the quirk singularity. And it seems like a lot of the arcs we've had so far have been about, the application of quirks being fused into other quirks. Like, not specifically, but just, in a general sense. We've been focusing more on quirks in general. So I think that'd be cool. Ah, I love this. Like, I don't read Jujutsu, but it feels like the kind of series that would have some crazy jargon like this, like, to the power of whatever. And then he'd have to be corrected, like, oh, by the way, this is what to the power of really means. Man, Fujimoto is always eating. What a hungry boy. I really appreciated each Valentine's Day chocolate I received. They were so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're hitting the peak of the Blue arc already. I'm very happy to hear that. I have not been the biggest fan of this Food Wars arc, so hitting the peak now would be real nice. Like, to know that this is the climax and then we're not going to, like, have it overstay its welcome. I don't think he's going to end the series, but I would like this to wrap up relatively soon. Okay, who? Mizuki Yoda was introduced in the SBS. That's really hype. Like, I mean, Oda doesn't really promote a lot of other series very much. Like, the last one I remember him doing was The Promised Neverland. So if Oda was willing to say, hey, this is Mizuki Yoda, check out his series Lation, like, that bodes very well. Yeah, the deadlines are real tough. I don't know what the volumes for Hell Warden would look like, but I hope they're good. I hope they're solid. All right, so that was Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of March 17th, I was about to say 1999. For March 3rd, or March 17th, 2019. This was a fantastic time. We did a lot of cool stuff. I'm not going to drag this on because I also have the entire pre-recorded segments, and if this stream was 2 hours long, then oh boy, these are getting longer and longer. I'm going to have to find a way to cut these down. Anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. This was absolutely fantastic. As always, I adore doing Weekly Shonen Jump, and doing it with you guys watching is just so much better. Please leave anything you want in the comments, any abuse or complaints or, corrections or praise or anything, honestly. Honestly, even if you want to ask, like, hey, when are you doing this other series? It's fine. You can do that in the Weekly Shonen Jump comments. It's all fine. Anyways, thank you all so very much. Bye for now. Nya nya.